Hello and welcome to another episode of XenoChat. I'm one of the hosts, Tyler, along with my co-host, Justin.
Hello, everyone.
Alright, and we're back to discuss more villains, this time Xenoblade, but first we got our returning guests. We got Robin.
I'm not returning from the previous villains part, though, in case you were curious.
True. We got a new cast for this episode, but it's good. It's all good.
I think I'm the only returning one.
Yes, and that is Mary.
Hello.
And we got Nick.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
I don't know why that felt
Okay.
appropriate, but I just decided to do it.
Okay.
Cool.
Whatever floats your boats.
I just thought it'd be fun.
My audio actually cut out a bit when you said that, so I didn't get the full magnitude of it.
You'll just have to listen to the full episode when it comes out for the full
I know, that's going to be a
experience.
fun little gift for me in the future.
Try listening to the podcast.
Maybe if you listen to a podcast called XenoChat, you could appreciate this high-end humor.
Sorry, I was just doing my Minoth impression.
Okay.
Alright, so yeah, today we're, instead of Xenogears and Xenosaga, we're talking about villains in these Xenoblade games. So, Xenoblade 1, Future Connected, 2, X, and Torna. I said that all weird order, but it's all here.
It's chronological.
Yeah, hopefully we can squeeze all of that in.
Yeah, if we go too long, we might split it into multiple episodes, but let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So first up, we'll start at the very beginning. So the first Xenoblade Chronicles with its villains. So one of the first notable villains would be Zord, one of the face mechon that Shulk and the gang faces early on in the game.
Yeah, it's the one with the big hammer.
Yeah.
Yes.
The pickup truck that they fight in the...
the pickup
first-
truck.
Yeah, Zord. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's... Oh, go on.
No, go ahead.
Does have a tailgate on it.
Sure, he's a pickup truck. No
Yes.
problem. We're good.
Yeah, I didn't really... Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go on.
No, I'm like, oh no, dead air, I better say something, so go right ahead.
Go
Okay, I'm
ahead,
just-
bot. Go ahead.
No, this isn't my show. Jin, you speak.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna say, yeah, he's just a robot with a funny Cockney accent, and I didn't really think too much about him, but it's kind of weird that his backstory is just kind of nestled within Colony 9, like, because his daughter is Dorothy, which is a character that you can help out around Colony 9, and you don't really find out about Zord's true past until you, like, help her out in some of the side quests, so it's kind of interesting.
And I might also mention that she's not like the easiest to... Well, I mean, she's not like the easiest person in town to find either, is she? Isn't she like nestled into like one of the back alleys almost?
I
And
think it
she
depends
has some
on...
missions at night that you have to get from her. Is that correct? Or am
I
thinking
couldn't
of
tell
something?
you that part. As for where she is, that sort of depends on what career path you tell her to go for. I think if you tell her to join the defense force, then yes, she is more available at night and more kind of out of the way to find.
Oh, okay. Maybe
But-
that's why it was that way for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably also depends on her schedule or what the time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, her schedule changes after you tell her to get a job.
See, I was under the impression that, it changes between quests, so when you get further in, like, some of her other quests, you have to find her in these different... Not, like, a huge change in location, but I was thinking she was kind of like, she's not, like, just right out front and center. She's kind of, you have to take this balcony back here into this alley or something like that to get to her in Colony 9.
No, she's never that bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I might
But you
been
do
thinking
have to
of
go
that.
out of your way to find her. I didn't remember
Mhm.
that.
I feel that you have
And
to
it's
go
kind
out of
of
your way to
weird.
find any specific NPC. Like, if you're just looking for
Yeah,
NPCs
really,
in general,
you kinda
no
do.
problem.
Yeah. there's some that give you info that it's like way laid into, like after you've done certain things for them and stuff like that in that game that is actually very story relevant that you kind of have to really dig in there to find. So it could have been any one of those NPCs that I was thinking of whenever I thought of that one. It was like, oh, I don't know if I ever even found her on my first playthrough of this game.
I think it's very easy to miss the bit of dialogue where Dorothy talks about, like, oh yeah, my father went missing during an attack. His name was Zord. He always swung a hammer. He was a blacksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
or maybe not found her, but found that dialogue from her, rather.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy to miss. But it is blatantly stated that Zord was her father. What's interesting about Zord in specific is that he does not have any memory of being Zord. He, like, when he gives his name, he goes, Zord is what they call me, I guess. I don't know. And that's interesting because at that point, Eggle is not brainwashing the face mechon. So he just has a terrible memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the process of becoming a face mechon. Yeah, it could be that the process for him was just too traumatic.
I will say, dude has some showmanship for sure. When you like go into that battle with him and stuff, he's like, "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen," that kind of thing.
As for the others, well, I just couldn't help myself. I ate them all up! Welcome to our banquet hall. Tonight, the main course will be you! And if I've still got room, the brat will make a tasty dessert! Madra, I'm Zord, your host tonight.
Boy, yeah. He's like, the way he does introduce himself and all that stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, bombastic, really puts on a show.
It does make you wish that he had a bit more of a backstory, because, I don't know, like, I kind of felt like they set him up to be more than he actually was, not just someone that is really only developed through an easily missable NPC. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of cool to have that as, like, a kind of an Easter egg to reward people who explore, like, oh man, this is his daughter, like, you know, like, that's a cool reveal to have, but at the same time, Zord is a character that is presented to you relatively early on in the game, and you kind of expect him to be a major player when, at the end of the day, he kind of isn't. I mean, so it kind of sucks that, like...
He kind of gets defeated pretty quickly, too, considering, like, it's right
after
Colony 6.
He feels like one of the first bosses with a huge presence, I guess I would say.
Yeah, no, he's your first reoccurring villain.
There's a lot of setup.
Yeah. He is. It's just that it kind of sucks that, like, his backstory is relegated to just random NPC you may or may not miss, you know?
I actually am going to disagree. I kind of like that about him.
I like that, but at the same time, considering how they present him, you kind of feel like there should have been a bit more in the main story, not something that's just, you kind of have to go out of your way to find.
I mean, they certainly do present him as much more of a thing, because he's your first faced mechon, he's your first opponent where you're like, wait, why doesn't the Monado work? The Monado's supposed to hurt these things, why doesn't it? However, I do think that ultimately adds to what he in fact is, which is just like a overall small piece in Eggle's larger scheme. So, while I understand, like, feeling, hey, how come he doesn't have more weight into him? It's like, he doesn't for story reasons. He's not important.
Yeah, true. That's also kind of true, though,
Yeah.
I want to say that I honestly, whenever I got to him, I felt like he was going to be bigger, because he is the first, I believe he's the first face mechon you hear talk, period. At the point in the game when I got to that, I didn't realize that they even could do that. And him just being able to do that alone for so long, whenever you get, like, at the start, you have Metal Face, and it's like, he doesn't say anything.
Right.
And that's kind of, like, caught me off guard, so I can see why one might think, oh yeah, there might be more to him. I think the first time that I saw him, or the first time that I heard him talk, I'm like, oh, that, like, something in my brain, like, got mixed up. And I thought, oh, that is the face Mechon. And then he said he was Zord and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, well, wait, he's got a different chin and all this stuff. Never mind. He's actually very different. But he caught me off guard for a bit there. Partially because he's like the second one you see. And, I mean, they don't look that similar. But they look similar enough, I guess. And just like, first time you heard him talk, you heard one talk, and I thought, oh, maybe I guess they can all talk, at that point in the game. So he really caught me off guard in some ways, but I also thought because he talked, he would have a lot more, like, going on that you'd find out later or something like that. And yeah, I guess he does, but it's not, like, front and center. But I do kind of agree with Bot on that. It makes sense that he doesn't have as big of a place, and I guess just, like, him to be as bombastic as he is, and just like, and everything like that, it's interesting. Especially compared to, like, how Face Mechon comes in and doesn't say a word, and then you've got this guy who's all of a sudden just, like, making a huge spectacle of it, and talking up a storm and all this, and I gotta say, that just really caught me off guard with Zord.
Yeah.
I did not know what to expect going in from there, especially after that, because of him making that kind of entrance. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess he did his job. That's a pretty important thing.
Alright, so
shall we also,
move to the
like,
next one, or... Oh, never mind.
All I was going to say was that later in the game you fight several Mechons that are called mass-produced faces that are all based on his general design.
Yeah.
Which just emphasizes how completely unimportant Zord was.
True.
Fair.
Alright.
Metal Face.
Metal Face! Mavka! Basically.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, Metal Face's Mumcar.
Wait, what? I'm leaving this podcast. How dare you?
I know, right?
No, don't.
I want out of the car, Mum.
But yeah, Metal Face is basically, as we said, Mumcar, though we don't exactly know that at first, and he's also the one who kills a certain character at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, he kills Fiora. We don't have the spoiler alert, he kills Fiora. That happens in the first 5 minutes.
A little later than 5 minutes,
but we can't tell you that's Fiona.
But...
Are you Fiora?
Fiora.
Why did I say Fiona? Oops.
But, yeah. He basically leads the first assault on Colony 9 and stuff and kills Fiora, and I guess that becomes pretty much a catalyst of Schultz's ambition stuff, but later on when you do see him again, you do see that, oh, it's Mumcar! Like, this bestie of Dunban, or supposedly one of the bestie of Dunban in the war, but that happened to, like, die back then because he was, like, trying to flee the battlefield instead of staying with his friends, and he got killed. But yeah, he's basically, his goal was basically to, I think, maybe get better than Dunban and get the Monado for himself. He was jealous of Dunban's success, and, like, I guess that made him go a bit, like, kind of a bit crazy on the sides, but he sounded kind of crazy on the sides to begin with anyways, but yeah. Trying to see if there's anything else there. Yeah.
Yeah, he does say that he wants to be a hero, and how come everybody loves Dunban just because Dunban can use the Monado, so he wants to use the Monados so everyone will love him, and I'm like, buddy, if you want to be a hero, maybe don't run away from the battle.
Yeah, don't run off the battlefield.
Jealous of Dunban with this
hair. Don't be such a dick.
Exactly.
People might like you if you're not.
Exactly.
Which isn't to say that Mumcar is not a popular guy. Just not in
and
universe.
He has such a unceremonious death of just falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually
I've seen people complain about that scene quite a bit.
You get stabbity stabbed.
I've seen people complain that like Shulk should have killed him, but I don't know. I kind of like that he doesn't.
I like that he doesn't too.
Me too, because I don't like that Shulk is like, well, you know, I feel like Shulk understand that Momkar like kind of turned bad because of certain things that happened, but at the same time, it's like it's not maybe he wanted to have some faith that he could change or something, but at the same time, it's like it's still kind of weird the fact that just as this happened, like the Mikana's arm or something fell on his face, basically. Just like, wow. Yeah, what are the odds of that happening right there?
It's an interesting thing where they set it up such that like they didn't want the hero to kill the villain because they wanted to make a point about the unity of the Homs.
I think I agree. Like, I think what I want to say is that like this is not Shulk does this again later with like the with like the Eggle thing and all. Is like he doesn't want to. It shows that Shulk is actively making a decision he doesn't want to kill if he can help it.
He doesn't want to, and he was like he believes that people can change and stuff, and that he can communicate, even though it's like a harder path to choose. Like he doesn't want to just kill. Like he wants to communicate his feeling. I guess, by so that. The other party can maybe understand and turn around, I feel like this is pretty much what Shulk is about often. He's a good boy.
Yeah, that's a very big part of his character.
I've always liked that about Shulk. And at the time when I played this game, that was something that I really appreciated.
Yeah. And I guess since we spoke about Eggle, he's just like the next character on our list, so I guess we can jump into that. So he is the leader of the Mechon, and was originally a friend of Arglas, which remind me is because my brain of names is like
Arglas was the giant that eventually got possessed by Zanza.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure because like it's kind of blurred with the fact that he was possessed by Zanza and stuff, so I did not click like was this the name of the giant, but I think it is. So, and you guys just confirmed, so it's good. But yeah, he was friend with the giant Arglas, and he saw his friend being possessed by Zanza, and basically watch as like all of Mechanius got pretty much destroyed by him, and he wanted to absolutely like destroy Zanza and the Baroness, so like that's why he kind of started to make more, I guess, like those things like face mechans and other mechanism to go against Baroness. But most of the other machina did not really want to go that path of revenge, but like even his own father like actually asked Shulk if he could kill him, but obviously Shulk, being the good boy that he is, like he wanted to instead reason with the guy, which kind of succeeded, but other things happened. I'm still kind of sad though that he does get defeated, like buying some time for them and stuff. Because, it's sad. I wish he was still around. He was a cool dude. Like, after he cooled down, anyways, because while he was, like, in his bad guy shoes of, like, basically being mad at everything, like, he was being really bad, but, when he started turning around and, like, listening to reason, like, he seemed like a pretty chill dude, and like at the end of the day, you just loved his people, and like you wanted revenge, but at the same time, it was maybe not the best of paths to choose, because more bloodshed brings more bloodshed and all.
Yeah. And the Mechonis got it really raw.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not like you can... it's understandable to not completely blame him in some ways, for... I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very gray... He's a very gray character. Like, he went through some, experiences that made so he turned the way he did, but, after speaking with Shulk... Well, they didn't exchange fists and all too, I guess, but after speaking and stuff, he did turn around and he did, try to help the crew escape from Zanza, who appeared around that time, so, yeah... It did buy a lot of time to the group for them to just escape in the ship and be okay, because they were basically the only hope, basically.
Did Mikol say he needed Shulk to give his boy a real big spanking?
No,
I hate to ask this.
Please kill my son.
I need you to give my boy a real big spanky.
Yeah.
No. He just said, please kill my son.
Spanky of death, yes. Exactly, you're right.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Eggle, though. Do anyone wants to add up anything?
Well, Eggle has a cool robot.
He has a cool robot, and he has a cool design.
Yeah, the robot was also named, why can't I think of it now?
Yaldabaoth.
The false god.
Yaldabaoth.
Yaldabaoth, yeah. Yaldabaoth.
Oh, yeah. I do remember that now. Yeah. Oh, man. But that robot was indeed really pretty. It was all gold and shiny.
It has that
those might...
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's probably my favorite face mechon design.
Oh, yeah, that one's really cool. It kind of reminds me a bit of Anubis from Zone of the Enders, Second Runner.
Yeah, I totally see that.
Man, I still need to finish that game.
Oh, that game is amazing.
Both of those are so good.
There's some really cool inspirations in Yaldabaoth's design, actually. I love it's like this big, almost like golden statue, kind of resembles some Buddhist stuff, Has that big kind of what would they call it? Like a corona sort of thing on it that goes off of its back and such. Yeah, it's just got a really cool look. It's very unique, even for the mechon in general, especially the face mechon in general have a really unique look. But Yaldabaoth still stands out as far as those go. But that's just aesthetic. The Eggle himself is the main person we're talking about, but can't go without mentioning at least that. Also, tail on the robot. Great appendage for a robot, in my opinion. It just looks cool.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, then I think we're good to move on to the next one, which would be the big baddie of the game, Zanza. Yeah, he's basically the god of Bionis, and the universe itself, really.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, I'm evil, I'm the boss, you shut up.
Oh, yeah. It's big money Zanza.
Yeah.
making all life on Bionis just so he can munch on them.
Yeah. But it's also interesting, because, how they made intertwine a bit of the Zanza of this part and the architect of Xenoblade 2. How they had explained that Zanza was is half that was basically the bad him. So it's it did create a universe, but yeah, the guy's a bit too arrogant and too oh god, he knows that he's the god. Is oh yeah, I'm the god, and you guys are all like weaklings and stuff kind of character. Kind of sucks though that he eventually is just like, oh, everything has to return to me to restore me, and like I don't give a shit about the creatures I created. So yeah, it's kind of really bad. That's it. Aside from that, he does have like a cool design. He's like an evil Shulk. That's kind of how he looks.
It's more that Shulk is a good him.
Yeah.
But sometimes his design also reminds me of what was the name of this character? A character in Tales of Symphonia that had like similar clothes and blonde hair. Yeah. And that ended up being bad.
Oh, I know what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Why can't I think of his name?
Yeah, me neither. But like his design, the first time I saw his design, it's instantly what popped in my head was like.
Yes, I know. Are you thinking of Mythos?
Yes, Mythos. There you go.
Yes.
Oh, I was like trying to think of.
Yes. Yep, I absolutely see it. I never thought about that until now.
Yeah, like that's something that really clicked. The first time I saw Zanza, I was like, Mythos, that you? It's like an older version of him, but like,
what?
But even in Symphonia, there was like a young version, but there was also a slightly more teenage, older version at the end of it. So. Yeah, like Zanza looks a lot like that ish, but more adult.
White clothes and mid-length blonde hair. Olivier from.
No, but Olivier doesn't have wings.
Yeah,
unless
but
he does in the later
it's not really
games.
the same kind of design though. It's just Mythos in Tales of Symphonia had like a design that was really close with the way the stuff was, especially like the sort of later version, like. It had some flowy stuff going on, a bit like Zanza, and like, lines on the costume and all that stuff in a similar manner.
And then at the end of the game, I'm sorry, go on.
But yeah, it's just it made me remember that. But yeah, going back on topic though. But
well, I mean, we're still on topic technically.
Yeah, technically we are. We're talking more design way.
I was going to say we could also talk about his design at the end of the game where he turns into a Kamen Rider villain.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
I see it.
That's so funny.
Big bad Beetleborg.
And he goes so crazy at the end of the game too. Like he's losing it because like you're beating him up and it's like, how dare humans defeat me?
How are you even walking in space?
And like the fact that he even like I think he even gets mad at Alvis because Alvis is just there, like watching the scene, being like, "I'll eat popcorn in my corner and see who wins." I feel like Alvis is doing that.
Good shit. Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, there's not all that much colors in this character though, because he's very much like, I'm the big villain and you know it kind of character. Like those, like there's pompous. Nothing like gray about him. He's just bad. So
it's like, I made you. You owe everything to me. That's his thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because they kind of built in the explanation as to why Mayneth and the Mechonis are weaker than Zanza and the Bionis, because Mayneth made her life forms and was like, these will be companions to me. I have no interest in killing them, which is why they're so long-lived, but also why the Mechonis ends up being weaker, because Zanza makes life forms and goes, great, you exist to serve me, so your existence gets reabsorbed by me, so of course he's stronger. And it doesn't have that, like, normal, oh look, power of friendship, because then you'd have Mayneth be stronger, because, yeah, she still made life, but she made life to be a companion. Yeah, she has more friends. People love her, whereas, like, on the Bionis, they're like, Zanza who? What? What are you talking about? Because anytime they come up with Zanza, Zanza eats them.
Go eat your friends.
So it's actually a very important lesson about do not eat friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright.
Do not
But yeah, it's a slight
not
subversion of the anime trope of like, look, friendship wins. It's like, no. Sometimes you,
but
sometimes you don't.
does.
It still did ultimately, yeah, but only.
It still does, though.
Homs are friends, not food.
Yeah.
Alright, shall we move to the next one?
Our next
Okay,
villain
the
definitely
one-
likes to be friendly. Speaking of friends,
I was gonna say, the
little too
one
friendly.
fan of this character is gonna be excited. The one fan. Larithia.
90s dominatrix villain. Yes.
And
Alright,
yeah, she really likes Callion, and yeah, I guess I can let someone else show on this one.
There's nobody
what's
who
there
will
to
say
say?
anything more about her than what you will say, and I
Yeah,
have
like
cried.
what is there to say about her though?
Yeah,
Like this, our notes just has a bunch of question marks.
Motivation.
Motivations, being beautiful? Question mark? I guess she's kinda hot, maybe. Fucking
I don't know,
Kallian, while Kallian is a Telethia? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
I was guessing that it might be an eternal beauty sort of thing, except that, like, what Hyantia do we see that isn't, like, yeah, okay, still kinda hot. Like, Saurian's
It's like-
and even him, it's
yeah.
like, still, yeah, I'd still say, sure, why not?
Yeah, there's not much about Larithia.
Poor Larithia,
I mean, she's-
really.
I think she's okay for what she is, I guess, but like I really can't comment that much about her.
yeah, but then again, she wasn't in that lot of like. I feel like she was a villain that was left a bit more to the side to maybe advance some plot lines, but not like all that important.
I don't know. She's really into doming and eugenics. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I feel like
I don't
she
hate
likes-
her. I think she's fine. It's just I don't really have strong feelings for her.
Yeah,
or
I think
really
she
against
just
her.
likes. She's basically that generic villain that kind of likes power and that gets screwed over by it, basically. Like, because I feel like she joined Zanza and the others just to have more power and stuff and be on their side, but then when things started to go south and she had to transform into a Telethia as well, like, she did not really enjoy that all that much. Although she did fuse with Callion, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think she did enjoy that, because
yeah.
she did fuse with Callion, and I think that was her goal.
Yeah, maybe, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I feel like a part of her also got screwed over by that same power
weird-
she was trying to pursue.
Her weird
But-
kangaroo Telethia fusion thing. Oh, look, just hanging out there.
Fusion, ha! But yeah, I guess we can move on to the next one, which I'm basically gonna pass it over to you, Bot, because it's it's your favorite.
Wait, who?
Who's
Oh,
favorite?
that
Yeah, who
that
is it? It's
Dixon guy.
Billy?
Oh, we can skip him. He's not important. Let's
I
talk
don't
about
think
Gato.
Okay, moving on to Gato, alright.
No,
Alright, so
wait.
Gato is Charlotte's fiance.
You're really
Oh, what?
skipping your husband, though?
No, let's keep talking about
Okay,
Gato.
fine.
Originally Charlotte's fiance.
Charlotte's fiance, Gato. Yeah, that's right. Okay, fine. Yes, we'll talk about Dixon very briefly, though, because we have a whole episode about him. I will say,
Yeah,
just for the
yes.
record, the episode about Dixon was actually Nick's idea, not mine.
It was great. I loved it. I had so much fun. I think that was the last episode I was on.
It might have been. I don't know. I've been on so many. Y'all just
Anyway, it was
don't let me
great,
shut
babe.
up. Anyway, Dixon.
But we love you.
We love Dixon. Yes. Oh, and Nick.
I know nothing about this guy. I'm just here for the ride.
Dixon, again, we're just going to cover him briefly because we have a whole episode. So, for motivation, it's just I don't know, I guess he wanted to be powerful? He said something about wanting the strength of the god. I guess that's what he wanted. I don't know. He just kind of wanted to let things be as they were, so, Zanzo wants an all-you-can-eat people buffet. He's for it. Why not?
Bring back Dixon Mania.
Yes, he wanted to bring back Dixon Mania. I was trying to... Look, I've already said all I can about Hulk Hogan in relationship to Dixon. I'm sorry, I'm out of that. It's not that I'm out of things to say about Dixon, it's that I'm out of very clearly canonical things to say about Dixon. You're at the, me talking about Dixon's erectile dysfunction level of things that I can say about Dixon.
It's like, I like my son, but this is just the way things are, and we should serve Santa.
Yeah. And somehow Dunban can sense Dixon. That's
somehow Dunban develops Dixon sense, which, I'm jealous.
I smell 3-day-old cigars.
But yeah, his death is just an example of, son overcoming father. That motif, which occurs not super often within the whole Xenoverse, but, this isn't the only instance of it. Mm-hmm. And if you want more Dixon, you can... I spoke about him for 2 hours. 2 hours.
Aww.
2 hours.
Really? Didn't feel like
2 hours. My roommate was surprised that it was only 2 hours, and I'm like, well, after that I was out of things that are things where I can point to canon and go, here's how I came to this conclusion, and it's just in the canon that I feel is true in my heart.
I blame being self-conscious?
I blame the fact that I try to keep a certain level of integrity in this podcast.
Oh, maybe you can start your own podcast just about Dixon. The Dickcast.
Dickcast. Okay, good. But let's move on to Gatto for now, because again...
Yeah.
Gatto!
I can speak about Dixon for 2 hours. We don't have 2 hours. Let's go.
No, we don't. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, that Charlotte, that was Charlotte's fiance, and she always has Gatto on the brain, even when she's hanging out with... Oh god, I forgot his name. Ryan.
Ryan? Did you forget Ryan?
Ryan?
I forgot
you forgot
Ryan's
Ryan time?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, that was
message you. It's Ryan time every day.
It was a bit, guys.
Now it's Ryan time.
It was a bit, yeah. Just like,
it was a bit.
Yeah. Don't revoke my Xeno card, please.
He underwent the brainwashing and couldn't remember Charla, but he did remember one thing. The blowjaggy, which is an attack that he does that I can't remember what it does, but man, it had a funny name.
That is a
I'm sorry, though she said it that way sounds like blowjaggy is a thing related to Charla. And that just makes it even more uncomfortable.
I kind of wish he would yell blowjaggy when he does that attack.
Blowjaggy.
Blowjaggy! That would be so cool.
That would be great. That would be great. I'm personally afraid of what blowjaggy actually is. But I can
Urban
imagine...
Dictionary blowjaggy. Let's see.
I imagine... I can imagine that he's...
Blowjaggy aside... Blowjaggy aside, his first boss battle is probably one of my favorite boss battles in the game.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, because cool. The environment actually is used in that battle.
Yeah, I think it's cool, except for the fact that the NPCs in your team are too dumb and getting shot at. I'm hiding, but they don't follow me, and they go for him, and they get shot in the face.
Metal Gear in an RPG.
You know what's funny? If I type in blowjaggy in Google, Xenoblade comes up.
I knew it.
I'm shocked about this, and I'm also seeing some Beyblade tops.
What?
Blowjaggy.
That's so weird.
Oh,
is there a Beyblade called Blowjaggy?
No, but I think there's one that's named something similar because I actually I never watched the show, but I messed around with
Yes, there's one called a High-Jaggy, I think.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
I remember collecting a few whenever I was younger. I didn't ever watch the show, but the tops were kind of fun and such, and I had cool monster designs on them.
Do you think they did a Wake at Beyblade with this thing? That would be funny.
A blowjaggy, let it rip. I just like saying that, and I think that the picture for this episode should just be a close-up of Gatto's face with blowjaggy written underneath it.
So there are no entries in Urban Dictionary for blowjaggy.
Probably a drug.
It's probably the original
Anyway.
word.
Anyway, yeah, he was brainwashed, but somehow overcame said brainwashing in the end and remembered.
I think it was Mainnet that
Charla?
helped with that. And Mainnet? That's what's written in the notes, anyways.
Yep, and then they kind of rescue him, but then he kind of turns around and sacrifices himself to rescue the rest of the party.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much.
So
which
cool.
was sad, but
It was. It was.
I love how in our notes in the defeat section it says, "Defeat! Charla having a new boyfriend." Like, just that immediately just made him, just cause his downfall.
Crushed.
Oh my god.
except she kept thinking about Gatto the entire time she was with new boyfriend. So I'm like,
yeah,
that's
it made it a bit
completely different.
uncomfortable.
I like
Her
Ryan and Charlotte
voice.
as a couple. I know it sucks. I just do like it.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's just it. Like, I actually like them too as a couple. It's just some really unfortunate timing that it comes off like such a rebound.
There's
Yeah.
unfortunate things around it, but yeah, that kind of stuff is very unfortunate about it. But like, they kind of work together, you know.
They do
Just
work.
if you
It's
ignore
just
They
that.
unfortunate timing.
It's just so shitty that we have to deal with the fact that like Ryan comes across as replacement Goldfish.
I mean,
Same memory.
I guess you could, because they don't really like profess any love. So I would say maybe if a few years later, I think it would be okay if they got together. But
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
I
not
mean,
comfortable with them being together.
very
right then and
understandable.
Yeah,
That's
personally, I think
completely
I'm okay
understandable.
with them being together. It's just the first part of them possibly being together was really awkward, and then later in the game it gets better. But at the same time, it's just, yeah, the timing is so like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's like, you remind me of Gatto. You remind me of Gatto. It's like, oh, stop.
Oh,
Yeah,
just ignore
yeah,
her.
that
She
was
says
really
that to
awkward.
everyone. Just ignore her. She says that to everyone.
Alright,
I would die if
shall
both
we,
their arms said that or something.
shall we then move into future connected with the
Well-
psychopath Galgar?
Oh, man.
No, I
Galgun.
forgot to.
Wait,
Wait,
what's
no, let
what's
Jen
up?
speak.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say we forgot Amelia's mom, or well, her not her real mom, but her adoptive mother.
Pseudo mom, Yumea.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
villain that shows up for 5 minutes and then disappears.
Yeah.
Oh, screw her. She was like super manipulative.
Yeah,
She was a
true.
bad mom.
And
She was a-
yeah, she doesn't
We can
have that
forget
much
about her.
screen time too, so it's a bit hard to remember.
I just thought I'd bring her up just briefly, but yeah.
But yeah, how dare
What's
you
wrong with-
hurt Melia?
What kind
Yeah.
of Xeno podcast wouldn't remember Melia's not mom's name is Yumea?
I said it was Yumea.
Oh, I missed that.
How dare you? Oh, no, it's okay. I, know
I
I'm
didn't
having
remember.
audio issues.
But anyway, we can move on to Galgar.
Yeah, let's move to Galgar,
Yeah.
the fun psychopath of Future Connected.
Gal Gygar.
Galgar, oh my god,
Galgar.
I'll do
When
How does he say
Galgar
his name?
appeared,
Galgar.
Galgar,
Yeah.
I think. When he appeared, I had already exhausted all of my ability to believe the fact that, like, oh, if they show me a guy and he looks like he's going to be a villain, he won't actually be a villain. So I'm just like, nope, this guy's gonna be a villain. You can't fool me twice.
Oh man, you know who Galgar reminded me of when I first saw him? And this is something I haven't seen in a long time, but remember that dude that always like squinty eye smiled in Bleach? He reminded me
Oh,
of him.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He
I
has very
really like
much
that
that
character.
kind of like trope villain going on of like I'm the
trope.
fox. I'm the fox villain with like the closed eyes, and when I open my eyes, I'm about to screw shit over. Yeah, he does have. Bad. He does have that that energy about him, except he's he feels like he would be big, but then when you fight him and you see him his tantrum, you're like, Jesus, this guy is so immature.
It's kind of interesting how his... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Do add on. It's fine.
Well, I was gonna say, I thought his arc was interesting because he was kind of like the opposite of some of the High Entia from the first game, whereas they wanted to maintain pure blood, but his was about maintaining like the half-blood High Entia, even though it kind of a shitty price to everyone else.
Yeah. It's also, just like it was basically the extreme of like possibly like, because there's been a lot of stuff going on with the High Entia pushing away half-blood High Entia, and like I feel like he became a bit of a extreme case of like being tired of that and wanting to do his own band of like half-blood people, but like he wanted to push away the pure blood, which was not okay because he's doing the same thing they were doing. So yeah.
It's honestly it's a character trope I always hate, where it's like, oh, you were discriminated against, and now you're discriminating against all the people who discriminated against you, and that's bad too. And I'm like, yeah, okay, no shit, but like, also no shit, you're angry, because we saw the High Entia who were like, ew, half-blood's gross, bad. Like, yeah, maybe he's a little, pissed and sick of it, and kind of like vindicated in seeing, hey, if you're pureblood, you turned into a Telethia, and that's no good. You lost your mind and started to attack the planet. Not the planet. So
that's
it
what
makes sense that
he... I still did enjoy the character, because I did find him kind of funny, especially with the way like the lines would deliver and the stuff. I found it really entertaining, like a bit in a way of like how Albedo is entertaining. Like it made me laugh. It made me laugh a bit whenever he was appearing, because it was so like extreme. But
so fake.
Yeah, again, it's just a character trope that I personally find distasteful.
Yeah, I get it.
Fair. Oh, that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that I'm like, yeah, I do find you charismatic and I did like you, but also it is a trope that I always... Whenever it shows up, I'm just like, it can stop. It doesn't need to be here. Stop.
Well, I find it kind of interesting that thing, like, that exists in there, because I feel like there's a lot of things that would just ignore that side of the, of the spectrum and make that into a villain, too, in a way. So I thought it was kind of, like, interesting that he was there and had that such a like different perspective on things than everyone in the first game, but was still, he's still like super extremist bad dude, just bad for like with a different motivation like that, like opposite end of the spectrum motivation kind of thing.
I mean, it's the same thing as when you have like things where it's just like, oh look, here's a feminist fantasy, and you have men as slaves, and you're like, well, nobody said that, nobody asked for this. So that's why it's a thing. Yeah, it's that, where it's like, nobody said this, but the other side of that is that Galgar actually, within the narrative, is correct, because when Melia goes into the tomb, we know that the goal of the ancient High Entia was to dilute the bloodline, because they knew about the Telethia problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a weird... He's just a weird character, where it's like, yeah, he's definitely in the wrong here, but he's not. He's wrong about how he's going about it, but his goal is correct, so he's just weird.
Mm.
Yeah, he's just very extreme, because he's too mad about what happened.
Yeah.
And stuff.
He's bitter.
But, yeah.
He's bitter, he's angry, and he's taking it out in the wrong way.
Yeah. And he ended up pretty much killing himself. So, yeah.
Well,
yeah, I thought that was such a weak scene.
That was it
it was a side quest, wasn't it? Wasn't it a side quest to finish his plot, basically?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that it was.
like...
It wasn't. I don't think it was even fully voiced. I think half of it might have been, if I remember correctly.
Like,
and then he just
I
like
remember
normal
that
character model like walks slowly off.
Yeah,
cliff.
I just remember watching that, just being like, "Okay, dude."
I was like, "Oh, okay,
okay."
I was like, "Why'd you kill yourself, bitch?"
Okay,
Like,
see ya?
things could have turned around, but okay. Bye-bye.
It was, again, because it was supposed to demonstrate that, like, his ideals were so completely divorced from what everybody else wanted.
Yeah.
Where he was... I mean, I'm gonna just keep using feminism as, like, a thing to compare it to, but he was basically, you know, the straw feminist of Hyentia, where what he wanted was Hyentia purebloods to be beneath the half-breeds, where everyone else is like, no, I think we should be equal, actually. So when that ideology, as represented by Melia, defeated his own ideology because she punched him much harder than he could punch, he was like, well, no world for me here, goodbye, and jumped.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that was one villain of Future Connected. Let's go with the second one, that is, a pile of fog. The Fog King.
Yes, the Fog King.
The Fog King. That is just a creature that does not speak, or really make much sense other than, my inner Xenosaga fan says, oh, he's like a Gnosis thing. Okay.
We helped with Breath of the Wild. Let's make Calamity Ganon in our game.
It does feel a bit like that, doesn't it?
The music doesn't help either. That definitely feels kind of like Breath of the Wild music.
It's good music.
Yeah, Fog King was
it is
very
good
there
music.
To just be like,
good. So
I'm a
about
corrupted being. He was basically like, I'm a corrupted being in this city where all the people turn into Teletia, and like, yeah, I'm just here. Come and fight me. It was basically felt like that, really.
Yeah, I said this in like whatever Future Connected episode we did, where it was basically, he's very much a thing where he's there, where it's a, maybe we'll do something with this in a potential Xenoblade 3, but also maybe we won't.
Yeah, but I feel like it's just like a result of the distortion that happened there whenever they did the reboot. At least that's my understanding. Like whenever like they beat up Zanza and like the land change and stuff with the giants, like I feel like it became a distortion there, and like it was born out of that distortion. I think that's what they tried to explain, but my brain's a bit fuzzy about it.
Maybe the Fog King's goal all along was just to get a really sick orchestra and fight some cool anime dude.
It could have been. I mean, the real thing with Fog King is just he's a thing where it could be a sequel hook, or it could not be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially with that damn Telethia.
Yup.
At the end.
Oh yeah, wasn't
Which
there a
could
Teletia
be a thing
that...
to link it to X, or not.
Yeah. Wasn't there a Teletia, though, at the end that saved someone that sounded... No, the Teletia that appeared a couple of times, I think, and that saved the kid, and at the end I think they did something else, was, I think, the Teletia of Yumea? I think they mentioned that, but I'm not entirely sure. But... No, not Yumea, the evil mom? Hold on.
No,
Yumea is the evil
Yumea.
mom.
Well, it was Yumea, okay. Yeah. I'm mixing up names because, like, there's so many characters.
If I recall correctly, you do defeat the Telethia that was Yumea.
Oh, true.
As that is ultimately Tyrea's goals, because she had promised, yes, I will defeat you.
That's what I remember is the Teletia saved the kid, but then at some point, I think in one of the quests, or I don't know when, you do defeat the mom, and I think that does something with Tyria's story, but I might be remembering everything wrong though. It's been a while. My brain's already fuzzy about everything. Alright. Talking about fuzzy brains, should we move to the next topic, which will probably be led by Bot and Nick?
Alright, then we are moving away from the first Xenoblade Chronicles to Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna start with two characters I didn't have to Google at all. No, I remember their names. Riz and Dagon? Dagon?
So, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Right, yes, Bebop and Rocksteady. Tell me.
Yes, Bebop and Rocksteady.
One of them's a boar and one of them's a rhinoceros. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. And so Jesse and James from Team Rocket, they come in and they want to do the bad, and they work for the bad guy, and they're a team, and they sick the evil robots on you, and they're bad, by the way. No, they're basically like, they're your typical chaotic duo. One's a big, like, hulking alien dude with strong arms, and the other is this wiry, this wiry ballerina punk rock dancer alien lady, and they're really chaotic, and basically during a big ganglion invasion on New LA, they come in to basically wreak havoc during that. And then later, they bring in a gigantic spaceship robot thing to kill you and get their revenge also. So they do that kind of stuff. There are like the kind of things, they work for the Ganglion, all this stuff. They work, which is like the big alien organization that is totally against human survival at all. And they're the ones who don't follow orders well, but they're really strong, so hey, we got them on our side, I guess. And that's shown by that they basically put everything into getting their revenge on you after you thwart them in New LA, and get beaten once again whenever they try to bring out their big guns and stuff. What is that giant robot spaceship thing called? It's like I cannot remember.
I know what you're talking about. Like, I can visualize it because I lost against it once.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, do you want to make it easier? Because you're clearly really bad at this game. Here, we made the fight easier, you dumbass idiot, baby. But I do know what you're talking about.
Or maybe it was Zoo for... I forget. Oh man, I am having so much trouble remembering its name, but...
Most of the thing about with Riz and Dagon is that they existed to kind of obfuscate with Celica and...
Yeah.
Celica's friend.
Celica and Rock, because they're like...
Thank you.
Rock, yeah.
They're both like... Yeah, Rock is the big guy, and Celica is the smaller one, and they're both like... It's basically like Rise would be the same. It would be like the chaotic evil Celica, and Dagon is like the chaotic evil Rock, whereas Rock is just like... Rock and Celica are like the sweetest characters in the entire game, just about.
Yeah, it's a thing where it would have been better if they had introduced them much earlier.
Yeah.
Such that then when you found Celica and Rock, it would have been like, oh, you're completely different, big guy, little girl pair. But as it happened, it was just like, look, we conveniently introduced an evil version of this good version of characters. So, yeah, a reoccurring thing with Xenoblade Cross is just going to be, hey, this could have been developed a lot better than it was.
Yeah. And I just got the thing. Zoofarg was the name of the giant ganglion weapons hanger that they basically took over. And that's the thing that you have. That's the giant. It looks like a mixture of. Well, at first it looks kind of just like a big, like not really spherical, like a oblong sphere. Yeah, like spaceship. It's got big, fat, round edges kind of on it. And then later it like grows legs and a head-like appendage almost that shoots lasers at you and things like that. And they just, it's like, I don't, like this is totally something they just do of their own accord because they are mad. And they really don't have a lot going on other than they just like basically they just love being chaotic and like being part of the fight. They live for that kind of thing, it seems like. But yeah,
I do recall I
never really
small
what?
I do recall a small scene where Riz laments, like, I think Elma goes, "Hey, why don't you join with us against the Ganglion?" And there's a scene where Riz is like, "Hey, actually, fuck you." But Dagon never really gets that sort of characterization.
Dagon doesn't really say much of anything, from what I recall. Like,
no.
He doesn't have I think he has a few lines, but it's mostly just like, Hulk smash kind of thing.
Yeah, unlike with Celica and Rock, where they both have distinct personalities, there's Riz, and also Dagon is there, too.
Yeah, and they kind of have a very seemingly one-note personality.
Unfortunately.
There's always things I could have missed in this, and I wish I had more to say about these two, but I honestly don't. Like, I was totally joking with comparing them to, like, Jesse and James or Bebop and Rocksteady because they are a duo, but there's really not a lot going on with them, which is with those other duos that I mentioned. Those would have more things known about them, like, both personality and motivation-wise and things like that. But, yeah, there is just a lot of... They're just an evil duo to counteract Rock and Celica is the main thing that I get from it. And
all right.
That's really all I got for them. Unless you got more to add. Yeah. I wish I had more to say on that.
Then let's move on to someone who's just as developed, and that is it Goetia?
Because this person was a bit more up there in the cutscene, I do remember her a bit better.
She is a boss twice.
Yeah, exactly. I do remember her look, but I don't remember much of else.
And she has a sick-ass mech, too, I gotta say.
Oh, yeah, true.
I do like her design, but, like a lot of the Xenoblade Cross villains, you just don't get enough of them. And
yeah.
I remember Goetia, like, you see her in a few cutscenes, so you think she's, like, super important, only for you to beat her, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm really strong, I'm devout to our cause, and I'm a hornier Pellegrini, I suppose, according to her notes. Yeah, that checks out. I wear strange little clothing.
But even then, it's like, we don't get to see enough of her horniness outside of her outfit.
It doesn't say much like that. She's just like got this very...
Like, I wish I could say that she was horny, but I don't see enough of it, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, unlike Larithia, where at least you definitely know Larithia is horny. With Goetia,
yeah,
you're like, well, her outfit's horny.
Well, maybe? I mean, seems like she could be, but she's mostly just throwing hateful insults at you that have no, like, that it's hard to kind of derive any sort of, is she not from kind of thing? If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's sad because she is a boss twice, once on foot and the other time in that really cool mech. Or in that really cool scale, I guess I could say it as. But I guess that wouldn't count because I don't think that the enemy ones were really referred to as such. But anyway, she doesn't have a lot to say. But there are some pretty cool scenes with her. I believe she calls Elma a Samarian witch.
I thought she was the Samarian witch.
Or she's the... Oh, I thought... No, because they hate the Samarians.
How your features melt in fear as you're twisted and angry. That's enough, Samarian witch.
Ganglion. The whole cause is against the Samarians.
I'm
pretty
very
sure
sorry,
she calls
then, yes.
Elma a Samarian witch. And that's pretty cool. That's fun, at least. But, yeah, we also get that really great scene where Elma just points the gun up at her, which is the infamous scene.
Yeah, the one we have transformed to an emote in our server.
The big delete this from Elma.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Elma points a gun at the screen, and this is very enjoyable.
She just really does not like people, as in humans, and she serves Luxar. And
pretty much.
And I love that her defeat in our notes is written as being worse at robots than the main cast, because that's very true.
I mean, that's how I wrote most of their defeats.
Yeah, I don't remember her being very hard. I don't think I had any trouble beating her up, so yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I think that her first time I had a little trouble, but the second time...
I think the first time I had over-leveled, so I destroyed her in 5 seconds.
Yeah, the second instance of her I had no trouble with. There is like one of those time trial ones with her that was a little bit harder, though. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's all we got on Goetia, unfortunately. I know you can...
Yeah.
I know, like, one thing that's funny about this game, too, that I forgot to talk about, I guess, that is not really relevant to character personality or anything, but it's funny that there are, like, material drops for every enemy, right? And a lot of them are, like, most of them are very specific to the type of enemy you fight, and stuff with, like, these characters, like Ryzen Dagon and Goetia, they actually have, like, named material items in the game. That I think Goetia's is like Goetia's heal or something. I don't remember for sure. Rise, I don't remember what Rise and Dagon's were for sure, but I thought, but Rise did have one. I remember seeing her name in one of like the material lists, and I wish I could remember them off the top of my head. But you know what? You get the picture. It's kind of cool that they do that. So. Just a nice little mention on that.
Alright. Well, I guess we can go on to Slug Margulis, aka Luxar.
I like how it's aka Luxar. It's not that his name is Luxar and he's aka Slug Margulis. It's most of us know him as Slug Margulis.
Yeah, Slug Margulis. Definitely.
Luxar the Hut.
Yeah. Luxar the Hut.
I'm sorry, when I saw Luxar, I thought of Jabba.
No, it makes sense. He's got a slug face. He's got a weird brain tail thing going on, too.
He's got that frog throaty thing.
Yeah. Totally not old school Dr. Robotnik looking stuff going on there, either.
He is not an attractive villain.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Really, yeah, that honestly was the thing that defeated him, that Tumblr just didn't find him hot enough.
Obsessed with the PlayStation Vita, which was his downfall.
I always thought that was so funny, how you fought the Vita in this game.
Bring out the Vita! Why? How could you defeat the Vita? Because Sony doesn't care.
Anyway, he actually wanted to defeat the humans, as they were descendants of the Samarians. And, yes.
It's kind of...
And he was like, I want to defeat the gods.
Yeah, because the Samarians are said to have made the many races, the many hybrid races that make up the Ganglion group. And they wanted their revenge on the Samarians for, you know what? I'm not exactly sure what the Samarians did to them other than maybe exile them
The Samarians made them a slave race.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. But yeah, it's stuff like that. It's not really gone very in depth into on that stuff either, but yeah, the Samarians did not treat them well, apparently, and the humans are like descendants of the Samarians, according to them anyway. Allegedly. Allegedly. No. And they are just like, nope, we hate them, we're going to take them out. This is our universe, not yours. We deserve it. That kind of thing. And
yeah, it's an... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done. I was just going to say, I don't... Man, I'm even fumbling at this. I feel like really bad because I'm just like,
it's fine. You're still remembering a lot more.
There's like a lot of little details that are in here that I could like really go into, and I feel like people are going to be upset with me for like, small detail.
Well, don't worry, we have like 5 listeners. We're fine.
Listen. For all the Xenoblade Cross has no story takes out there, I appreciate you bringing in details.
Yeah.
It's just like there are some cool little details, and since I actually have not
sides.
Yeah, they're very much in the subtext of a lot of things, and yeah, I am not, a human dictionary, but I try. I remember there's some stuff I found very memorable.
Well, that's why we're a group. I mean, did you have more to add to this, Robin?
Yeah, what I was going to say is that basically Luxar's motivations are actually very similar to the protagonists of many Xeno games, where it's hey, God sucks, actually. We're gonna get rid of him. Except the problem here is that the Samarians made the humans, and so the humans are basically God here. So when Luxar says we're going to get rid of God, apologies, there are definitely sirens in the background as I'm speaking.
That's
fine. But he still wants to kill God, which, yeah, that's generally your motivation in a Xeno game. But unfortunately, you're God now. And of course, as I finish speaking, the sirens go away, so that was polite of them.
Checks out. Luxar alerts. Anyway, I think that's all we really have to say about Slug Margulis, honestly.
His name's Luxar. Oh my god, be nice.
Sorry. But yes, Luxar. Yeah. He seemed like, it's kind of sad. He seemed like he was going to have more going on, more interesting, but it really just kind of boiled down to the cause. And you find out some kind of interesting things about the Samarians, but it's really so vague that it's hard to parse much from, I feel like. Like a lot of that game in some places, I always say to those, the side stuff and the world building is really where it's at, but as far as the main plotline stuff, it'd be pretty cool if they went a little more into. You do find a lot out about the many ganglion races, cultures and stuff like that, in some places, with the prone and stuff, but you don't necessarily find a lot out about the central conflict other than we're mad because they were bad. Kind of stuff, it seems like. So yeah, that's basically it for Luxar, I think.
Yeah. So I guess we should move to the next one?
Yeah, so maybe someone else should start, because I know how to... There's Gajiarg, but is it Gabuhide? And I don't know. I'm just going to stop talking.
So, I can go ahead and say this if you want.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so it's Gajiarg, Gabuid, and the Rothians.
Gabuid.
And they are... Yeah, Gabuid. She is basically the ninja cat lady. And Gajiarg is the... he's basically an armored Jedi Knight.
Can I just say one of them, the worst battle ever is against them?
It does look like a Thundercat.
Like the mech battle against them was like, oh god.
The one where fire rains from the sky? Yeah, I don't like. That is not a very fun fight. And also the on foot one is not super fun either.
I think mine was the on foot one that there was a mech, I think, in the group.
No, it's a two-parter. So,
it's a two-parter.
Yeah, it's a two-parter where you're fighting them on foot, and then after that they go into their mechs. And
true.
That fight sucked.
And then,
but I remember having a lot of trouble with that fight.
I think that was one of the hardest fights for me personally in that game. Of course, I also feel like maybe I wasn't building right at that point in the game also, but anyway, the game, it's not like the game gives you any hints on that.
Nope.
So they go from, you basically fight Gajjarg with his lightsaber thing and a bunch of his soldiers around him in a circle, and they fight a little more straightforward, except for the soldiers will like shoot stuff at you, and he'll have his sword out, and then Gabweed will just be going all over the freaking place because she's a ninja, a ninja cat. And her thing, like personality-wise, she is a very, like the Rothians in general have this very big, like, they're very like honorable. They fight to sustain what little honor they feel like they have left because they were defeated by the Ganglion and forced to join them. And the Ganglion actually basically took over their planet and all this stuff. They were conquered by them. And I think them fighting this war a lot of times against the humans is just from what they basically say, is just they were defeated once. They're trying to save as much face as possible in a lot of ways, and eventually claw their way back up and restore their sense of honor to what it once was. But they kind of do, after you beat them, they actually end up siding with you, and you find them to be very good allies. They're very just duty-bound, honorable. They're all about that. Gajjarg is actually a pretty cool dude. Whenever you get past just him, the part where he's helping out the bad guys, like whenever he's on your side, he's really cool. Like he's all super dedicated to the cause. And same with Gabweed. She doesn't have a whole lot going on other than she's just like loyal. And
that said, they do have really cool designs too.
They do.
Right? Like, I really wanted them to join your party afterwards, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I would totally have.
Yeah, that was so lame.
I totally would have gotten the cat lady on my party.
And it doesn't make any sense because they're like on your side in the end, because it's like, oh well, maybe we can take down the group that destroyed us together now. But they just send you on quests. They don't join. They're like, nope, we're not gonna. They have such cool designs. They already have like you fight them as bosses, so it's pretty clear that they have movesets and all that stuff. But no, and a lot of the thing with that game is like the movesets are made or put in the game in a way to be mismatched or like mixed and matched around anyway. So I don't feel like it would have been just incredibly hard to make them characters, because you could just tack on any of the arts that are already in the game and then maybe add a bonus art to each one.
Though I feel like Xenoblade X being like the huge ambitious project that it was, it may have fell into a we don't have time to make them character type thing with all of the other characters there is already.
Yeah.
Possible.
It's a shame, but that's probably I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah. Because I feel like there was more to them that it would have been cool, but I feel like it may fall into one of these sad thing that can happen sometimes in video game making, is sometimes they don't have time to make a playable character playable, and they end up being just NPCs.
Yeah. And
like Margie and Xenogears. Sniffles.
Yeah. Right.
And there's a lot of places in which some of the side quests expand upon your knowledge of the Rothian people, but honestly, most of it ultimately tends to boil down to what basically they all stick to, like, this code of honor type thing. They are very much
they're all
Space Cat
basically
samurai.
Exactly.
Space Cat samurai.
Samurai pizza cats, exactly.
Exactly. There were samurai pizza cats. They did it. Monolith did it. They put samurai pizza cats in their game.
Alright. So I guess that covers everything with the cat people. Shall we move to the next one, which is probably a much bigger chunk in terms of like development, but
yeah,
I don't remember everything, so I'll leave that again to Robin and Nick.
Well, the next episode, or not next episode.
The
next character is
the next
Lau.
episode of XenoChat.
Well, he is going to get his own episode because from a Twitter poll, he won by quite a bit, and that is Lau.
Yep. Yeah, Lau is a very interesting villain in that, like, his motivations are very sympathetic. Like, you absolutely understand how he came to the conclusion he did, but functionally, he is a villain. So we're just going to give him, like, a cursory, like, the spark notes of Lau in this, since we will go more in depth in that at a later time.
Uh-huh.
Exactly, and I mean, we know that he had, like, it wasn't like he was. He's not like the kind of character that he was the kind of character that was made a villain due to his circumstances, basically, and making a very bad decision. And he had people that he had known for a while that are part of the main cast that are like your allies that knew him better, like Doug and things like that. And Doug just kind of like, he was friends with them, and he knew something was up, but he never thought he would go as far as he did, basically. He's definitely a tragic villain, just hurt by how the government, like the human government and society in general, has done him wrong, and in the way of, like, you know, basically not basically letting his family die. And I mean, understandably can't get over that, but causes him to betray the human race in general because he feels like he has nothing to live for in some ways, and also just because of the audacity of the humans of their race, to some of the people in their race to be like that, and he just kind of blames everyone for what happened to him, you know.
Yeah.
And in a large part, he blames would be Elma.
Better off. Yeah. It's like, maybe we would be. He feels like, yeah, it hits hard and emotional, especially like emotionally. And there's a lot more to it. We are just kind of like condensing down what we can for now for this.
Right,
but that is like the gist.
Yeah, it's the gist of it. And like, considering we do know we're going to make a full-length episode on that, I guess we could basically move to the next part and just leave that all like super huge chunk of information maybe to
I was just gonna give the spark
Chris
notes
is gonna probably join the low one. Yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to say, Robin, before we move on?
Yeah, I was just gonna the spark notes of it is that Lau was mad at how Elma and the whatever human council decided on who was going to be saved by the White Whale, and his family was not deemed amongst those who were going to be saved, and that led to his downfall, but also that this information was not publicly available was a lot of why he was like, I'm gonna just betray the human race, but it's because he already felt betrayed. And because we are already planning on having an episode about him, I don't want to go too much in detail.
Okay.
There's a lot to be said about Lau, so it's just a Spark Notes version of it. It is Lau felt betrayed, and so Lau felt completely justified in betraying the human race entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Lau.
Yeah.
Where
we
next
also
episode of XenoChat.
Where we also speculate on the future of Lao based on what happens to Lao in the video game with Lao.
That's right, in Xenoblade Chronicles.
No, you don't want to overpromise. We didn't record the episode yet.
No, we didn't. It's not like the Dixon episode where I can be like, you can listen to that literally right now. You can pause, play the whole Dixon episode, and then continue with this episode.
Just write down what I said so that we make sure to cover it, okay?
We got it in recording.
I mean, how can we not have a full episode about Lao where we don't talk about the crazy ending stuff? So yes, it will happen.
Yeah, anyway.
It will happen. Anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles 2!
Anyways, that's enough with Cross. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's move on to Xenoblade 2 with Bana, a greedy Nopon. So yeah, the Nopons are villains this time. Ooh. Or at least one of them is. He wishes to obtain the Aegis and sell it on the market because he is motivated by money.
Money.
Was that your Mr. Krabs impression?
That was the best I could do.
SpongeBob, me boy.
SpongeBob, me Bob. He's also working with Torna to mass produce an army of artificial blades. He kidnaps Tatazo and forces him to work on more artificial blades. He also plots to kill both Queen Rakura. Is that how you say?
I think it's
Rakura. Yeah.
Rakura.
Yeah, the Queen of Uriah, alright? And Niall of Morordain in an attempt to spark war between them. And he also funded his... Actually, I think that this note got it backwards. He funded his son's terrorist organization known as the Lindworm. Their goal was to take down the Morordain Empire. And yeah, he's actually a pretty fun villain. You see him relatively early on, and I love when they finally stop him after they beat Giga Rosa.
Yeah, I think one of my...
Because, I mean, the Giga Rosa fight was a lot of fun, first of all.
Yeah, my favorite part of that was basically the transformation where, like, him and the other Nopon gets into the robot and, like, you see everything turning and, like, they just smirk with an evil smile. It's just, like, it was so perfect.
Yes, that was actually really good. But the best part about that was when you beat him and, you know, he gets arrested and they throw him into that giant
treadmill. Yes. Excuse me while I work out, gotta run on my wheel. Yeah.
That's really funny. And he's sentenced to work in Goldmouth's generator room, and that is just hysterical. When I saw that for the first time, I started laughing like crazy.
It's so great watching his tiny legs on that, like, trying to land on the bars of the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so freaking funny. I love it so much.
The money is always right.
But then we also need to talk about Don.
Yeah, Don. Yeah, so
Your
Don
husband.
he was the leader of my husband is Don. I mean, he does have the Lindworm. He's also got that big ass boss.
In the husbando episode, you named Don as your husbando.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the little hat. It's cute. What can I say?
Don't try to backtrack this. You already declared him your husbando.
He's my husbando. Don. There you go. People who want to draw fan art, draw me and Don. There you go.
You just challenge your internet to do it.
I do really like that side quest where you meet him. And you go into his hideout, and it's like covered in smoke. It's brilliant. And then you fight that boss, and he gets arrested too, and he is also thrown into the giant hamster wheel. So him and his son can have a lovely father-son bonding moment that lasts forever.
The end.
The end.
Just remember this: Don fucks.
It's such a cartoon thing to happen.
It's so ridiculous, but I love it. I am 100% for it.
It's a great ending.
For
him.
It's equally a thing where, like, if you're a person who comes to... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said it's a great ending for a starting villain kind of thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What I was going to say was that, like, if you're into Xeno for, like, oh man, this is the mature RPG for the mature people... you're definitely going to be disappointed by this.
Hey, they can be disappointed. I'm sitting here loving it. More for me.
Absolutely, no. Like, that's fine. I'm just saying that, like, this is definitely going to be an ending where you go, excuse me, this isn't the Xeno I signed up for.
This isn't my Xenoblade. My Xenoblade was mature, not like that.
My Xenoblade didn't have any anime. It wasn't advertised as having 20 minutes of anime.
I can't believe my Xenoblade didn't have that scene where they kick Riki around like a volleyball or a soccer ball or whatever. It made fun of Ryan.
Speaking of other scenes, other villains.
I feel like both Xenoblades capture this similar vibe where they balance like this goofy tone of like slice of life anime shenanigans against a much more serious story going on in the background. And and of course, like with some definitely more toony subplots also. But that's part of it. I feel like it still fits the whole vibe of the series very well, and I like it. It's fun.
No, I agree. It has its serious moments with its silly moments.
Yeah.
Well,
like
moving on to another character,
can always
though,
just be killing God and stuff,
Well, speaking of
another
like
character,
speaking of Saturday morning cartoon characters, here's Dougal.
I'm trying to remember who that is. I forgot.
Dougal.
Curly mustache man.
Oh, Dougal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Curly mustache man.
Oh, he was working.
He's got pink hair too.
Okay, yeah, I remember now. I just had a flash.
Yes.
He's there just for a little moment and then he disappears forever. So my brain went like, "Oh, who's this guy again?"
Yeah. He's that politician from Morerdane working in Torregroth, and he wanted more power. His motivation? Power. Goal? Political power. But yeah, he just wants money, just like Bana, and so he can have more power.
More power.
But yeah, he's just a Saturday morning cartoon, and eventually he gets defeated because Rex doesn't like his face or anybody for that matter.
Some robots and some soldiers on you, and you beat them, and then you pants him, and he runs off crying, and that's about it.
Or the exaggerated way
that is
he
practically
rolls his
the way
R's.
Yeah, and he also does not treat blades very well at all. He treats them as tools.
No, he doesn't.
No, really, really not.
No, he was.
I almost forgot about Doug Hole, to be honest. Like, nobody mentions him. Is there a Doug Hole fan base out there?
You know who's more
I doubt it. However, he is mentioned. He is mentioned within the canon because it is described that, like, actually he was very good at the politician aspect of being a politician.
I think I remember.
So
it
is.
I remember that.
Yeah, like the people are in a sense suffering from his absence after Rex and Fam defeat him, because he was actually a very effective politician. He did fill out paperwork. He did the things you want a politician to do. He was just a jackass.
And you have to find a lot of that out through just like NPC dialogue.
Yeah.
And such.
Which,
I mean,
unfortunate is also like, if we're not gonna fault Xenoblade Cross for that, we can't fault Xenoblade 2 for that.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I mean, like, we have some... It depends on what you have to work with, I guess. There's a lot of times where there's a lot of subtext just hidden in NPC dialogue, so... And I'm not saying that to fault it. I'm just saying that's why you might have missed it. Don't get me the wrong way there.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that it's actually almost better for it, because it's like, hey, if you don't want this content, it's not here. If you're the type of person who's going to, at regular intervals talk to every NPC, then you will get rewarded for that. You are going to get a little bit more background. You are going to get missions that are basically like, hey, Dougal's not here, and he actually was a fairly effective politician, so we need that again in Torregroth. It's it's effective. Like, it's good. It rewards you for wanting more story. It gives you more story. And if you didn't want that story, it doesn't shove it at you.
Yeah. I do like that. Do like that.
Now, someone is going to have to remind me who this next villain is, because I don't remember based off the name alone.
Oh my god.
You're lying, right?
Patrick?
You're lying, right?
You don't... what?
You forgot him? You forgot him?
Oh.
I think I did.
You think you could take him?
I remember Padraig better than I remember Dougal, dude.
Isn't that
Oh, shit.
all
That's the captain. That is the captain.
Yes.
That's he's one of the main captains of the Mordanian soldiers. He's the one with the funny tall helmet.
I mean, they all have funny tall helmets.
With the taller helmet.
the tallest helmet?
The tallest helmet. He has the tallest helmet. He says the most not forgetting lines.
I thought they all kind of said that.
They do all say that.
They do.
All say that. He's just the only one that stands out at all because he has a taller helmet.
He's the only one who has a name.
Yeah.
It's funny how people still, like, reference that meme, even though, like, they patched that out a long time ago.
Yeah, well, because
never
it was
forget
better whenever it wasn't patched out.
Never forget the "Don't forget me" meme.
See, that's the thing, is like everybody posts just like pictures of Padraig, so you tend to forget that there's a lot of the Ardanian soldiers have normal sized helmets, and his is the one that's like the taller one. Like only the captains have the taller ones. So, but yeah, like he blends in with a lot. So it's fine. I just thought it would be good to add him because it's fun. But now we can move on to the big guns. And by that, I mean Padraig again. I'm kidding.
No.
Malos, everyone's favorite asshole. He was born hating humans and decided to destroy the world. 'Cause, yeah, I don't blame him for that. After losing a chunk of his power and meeting Jin, he calmed down a bit, but still sought to destroy the world.
And then, well, a lot of that hate is generated from his driver, Amalthus, but...
Yeah, exactly.
That's correct.
But I guess we'll get to Amalthus a bit later, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I rearranged the order of villains in terms of when you meet them.
Oh, no, that's fine. I just thought I'd bring it up. Because even after you defeat Amalthus, he's just like, yeah, I'm still gonna kill everyone.
I'll have more to say about that.
The high school Chad football team captain that hates the rest of the world, his underlings in his high school. Alice is a really well done villain. Like it doesn't feel like we see many villains that put off the kind of like vibes that Malos does, and I love that.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just a fun villain.
He's very fun.
Honestly.
His motivation is, I mean, it's pretty easy to get. He gets a lot of it from Amalthus, you know, but
I learned it from watching you, Dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like his atmosphere too as a villain. Like, he has a really fun personality as a villain, and like just in general, like he tends to be a bit playful with like the party and stuff, being like, "Oh, like you're gonna like," you almost have this energy from JoJo, like, "Oh, you're gonna come at me," like like Dio.
Right.
Like he feels kind of amused about it.
Yeah. He's just very self-righteous and very, like, cocky and...
Oh, yeah, definitely. But I do like that, because it's not the type of villain that we see quite that often. Like, he has a very... Like, in a way, he has a very unique personality that we don't see super often. Like in video games media anyways, like I don't feel like it's a personality we see that often, so I thought it was really refreshing, and it was also very fun to watch and stuff.
I definitely feel like that too. I mean, I really like his character. He just stands out so well, and like he totally had plays the villain role well, but in just a different way than I think I ever expected from a game like this, or from like a lot of games.
Yeah, for sure.
You get all these villains that are like, oh, they're going for, they're either malicious, flamboyant, evil kind of thing, and just like have this ridiculous kind of demeanor that the rest of the world doesn't accept and agree with them, or you have like a lot of these very high-minded seeming villain. And I'm not saying that he's not like a high-minded villain. He does have some rather high-minded thoughts about things, of course, but it's just his demeanor is very different from one of those kinds of villains, and it's very refreshing to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's also like interesting to see a Nintendo villain swear like him.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Like when he called Rex a little shit, I was like, oh wow, am I playing a Nintendo game? Damn.
I will say.
Also, I should know.
Sorry.
I posted in the episode prep channel. I should note that there is a Know Your Meme page for Malos the Tank Engine.
What?
Oh.
I'm distressed. I'm upset. I'm horrified. I'm
Would
confused.
you say you're mildly concerned?
Is it?
I'm mildly concerned.
If anyone's seen the FaceApp meme with Malos.
Oh, that is so good.
That's one of the
those.
best Xenoblade 2 memes. That's really, it really is. Mild concern.
What I was going to say...
Oh, no, go on.
Okay, I'll do it. As a person with depression who occasionally, like, gets into fits where it's just like, I'm going to justify what I think no matter what, at the end of the game where, like, Rex is trying to explain, like, here are all the ways you're wrong, Malos, and Malos is like, nope, here, I've re-justified what you said to just reaffirm what I've said. Like, that just hits really hard. Like, it is a very different feel when you're a person who is, like, very used to your self-destructive thoughts being able to reform themselves into a affirming way for whatever people say, where it's like, hey, actually, you're wrong. You're like, nope, I've actually rebuilt my thought theory into I'm right, actually. So it's interesting. And I think that's why Malos sticks out for villains, that he just has a whole means where it hits very close to home in a way that's, like, Yuriev going, actually got scary. I don't understand what the fuck you're saying, Yuriev. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand your motivations. It doesn't. Malos going, I've come up with 1,000 different ways in which I'm wrong and you need to defeat me. That does hate you when you have depression.
Yeah, I can only imagine, really. But, yeah. That said, he is
because even when Rex is yelling about...
He is really good at twisting that stuff.
He's good at saying that he's right.
Ideals. Yeah. He's
exactly.
It doesn't help, as far as, like, things against him, it doesn't help just how fucking confident this dude is. Like, he pulls it off in a lot of ways. With just like, maybe I'm not the cool kid if I don't believe what he's saying. Kind of.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It
really hits different when, like, because at the end where Rex is going like, see, here's how you're wrong, I've explained it, and then Malos just recontextualizes what Rex says, and he's like, no, you're right, I'm a terrible scum and you need to defeat me. It's just very interesting. I obviously don't know if any of our other listeners also have the depression, but hey, I'm sure you can understand what I'm talking about, where it's just, your brain worms have managed to reconfigure everything, so you're always wrong.
Exactly.
I
hadn't thought about it in that context.
Very interesting, yeah.
Okay. Are we
Sorry
ready
for
to
the
move
moment
on
of
to
silence. I was taking a bit of water.
Oh, you're fine. Alright, so let's...
But anyways, back on back on Jin.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people like to compare him to Sephiroth.
Sephiroth.
Jin
designed by the same guy? No.
Initially wanted to protect the world. He grew bitter after eating Laura. He hated... I know, massive spoilers for Torna. And Xenoblade 2.
Yeah.
He hated the architect for making a world where blades were so dependent on drivers and wished to destroy it.
It wasn't exactly a trip to Flavor Town.
What?
Oh my god. But the whole like eating Laura part is like kind of very vague because I think he just eats her heart or something.
Yeah,
because
that's what it...
yeah, her
That's
body
what it
is
means.
still kind of there because he does freeze her body to keep her close, which might be a bit creepy, but you know, at the same time, I think he had maybe hopes of maybe bringing her back through some means in the future, but
Yeah,
it did
they
not
never really
happen.
say like what he ate of her because
They
isn't
say
she
that
in
it's
pretty
her heart
good
that's
condition?
beating in his chest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's her
That's
heart?
the
Yeah.
But like
thing.
it's weird because like
Or the-
when they
yeah.
show Laura
Okay.
frozen, she looks like she's in decent condition.
Yeah. That's what...
Yeah,
He
but I
didn't
mean,
eat her shirt.
yeah, but I mean, like they might have, reconstructed the part of clothing that was destroyed there to
They
better,
just cover it up.
to better preserve it.
I've been waiting 500 years for this heart transplant.
Like they do say it's her heart that's beating in his chest.
But yeah.
That's what I was pretty sure of, yes.
But a
Yeah.
more simple solution is probably they didn't want to show gory bits, and they just took the model and put it into ice. There we go. It does a job.
Yeah, I mean Xenoblade 2 is rated teen, I think,
Yes.
so they're
Yeah.
probably not gonna.
You don't want blood.
They're probably not gonna be too explicit
gory
with
things.
it.
Yeah.
But it's so it is funny that they're like, yeah, you know, he took her. They imply that he took her heart, and like you see her in the crystal, and she's in pretty decent shape,
Yeah.
at least from what we see.
But
I
it's
maintain
interesting
that
with-
if somebody like ripped out your heart and then just put a shirt over you, you would also look fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know about that one, but
yeah. Anyway, magic. I mean, not magic. Super future technology
But
magic.
yeah.
Xenoblade shenanigans. Let's just keep it at that.
But yeah, basically Jin and Laura were fighting together in Torna, and like stuff happened. Laura got hurt protecting Jin because she didn't want him to get hurt, but like because of that she was basically dying, but to stay together forever. Like I don't remember it was Jin or
It was
her that proposed this idea. I think it was Jin because I think he read
It was
somewhere that it was a possibility to do so.
He
Yeah,
also
Jin
didn't want to
actually read
lose
it
his
from past
memories
Jin.
of her.
Yeah.
He also didn't want to lose his memories of her because she was like the one who made him who he was. Laura was
Yeah.
very like confident and like loving, like caring and such, and Jin was very kind of like soft spoken, and
Yeah.
he felt helpless without her. He didn't want to, and he loved her, and he didn't want to forget her.
Yeah, and at
part
the
of that
same
was
time,
that.
Laura also didn't want the memories to go away and
Exactly.
stuff, so
Neither of
she
them wanted
wanted
that.
him to
Laura
carry on
said,
the
like,
memories.
The most painful.
Yeah.
Because he would forget them if
best-
he reverted back to a
Crystal,
driver crystal, yeah. Or a blade crystal. I mean, not a driver crystal.
But yeah, afterwards he pretty much went crazy and just destroyed everything that was around there. And then he met Malus, his so good old body, and I guess they went into a quest to destroy the world and the humans to stop the cycle of like basically the blades being always abandoned on human stuff because it sucks.
One day he called up Malos and was like, I know we fought before, but, I'm having second thoughts.
Yeah,
Laura's
I can
gone.
It
Where
was
do I go?
basically
where do I go from here? Laura's gone. That don't know what to do.
It kind of was. It was Jin basically going like, I hate the fact that I have this dependency on this human in a way that humans don't have dependency on other humans. Which isn't actually true. Humans do have dependency on other humans, but it
came off to
you
like
also
that.
Aren't reborn ever with the vague knowledge of people knowing you, but also not knowing you.
Yeah.
So it was Jin going like, I can't stand to be in this cycle, but also I have been saddled with this burden of I have to eternally remember Laura.
It's basically like the plight of immortality kind of thing going on a little bit. Just like...
Yeah, it's that with, like... Because Laura says to Jin that the most painful thing to a human is to be forgotten. So he's like, I can't forget you. I have to remember you forever.
Yeah.
Because that would be a fate worse than death otherwise.
But yeah, his defeat
an interesting thing.
I guess we could speak about his defeat. Basically, he sacrificed himself to stop the Malthus, and like I believe it was because of his other form that was taking too much power out of him, and then eventually, like at the end of the fight, he just disappeared. I think that's what happened. It's been a while.
Yeah, he sacrifices himself to stop a Malthus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That said, I did really enjoy Jin. Mostly because
Jin's a great character.
It's because we see we see the whole Torna arc, but like even during the main story, like we see him kinda in the bad side at first, but then you see that there's more to it whenever you have him like temporary with you in the sort of like city
Land
thing.
of Morinthia?
Yeah, Land of Mortha.
Yeah, like whenever you're over there, like you see a lot of little cutscenes and stuff that shows that there's more to this character than what shows on the surface, and on top of that, like you can tell that the guy is he's just done with stuff and he's just hurt, So, like in a way, I was not able to hate him for anything he did because I was like, yeah, I kind of understand where he comes from in a way. So it was just like, I just wanted to know more about the character just because he was so well written and stuff. And plus, he was a pretty boy, so yeah, my motivation there was really high on trying to know him more. But yeah.
I think he was a very interesting and relatable character in a lot of ways because of what he went through, and just like trying to think of like what would you do if you went through this, especially if you weren't like. I'm not saying he wasn't like he was kind of stoic, of course, but I do feel like he was soft spoken. He had like this dependency.
Yeah, it's
on Laura
more that he
just
was
being
soft.
there in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's more that he was a bit soft spoken whenever he was with Laura. Like,
and so
he was the kind that was often more to the side, observing others and like talking when the need to talk was there. But like he was not like always out there, but like he was there when you needed him. Basically.
It kind of felt like he was good at what he did, but he was not like a leader. He needed someone to take after, and so I feel like it was a lot easier to go to that, like whenever his mentality was in the state to go and join Malos. Than it was to just go on doing his own thing.
Yeah, Jin is a big character, man. Like, it has so much about him, but that's what makes him like so lovable as a character, because there's just so many colors about him and stuff.
He also has a great single player mode where you get to go on like this revenge trip and kill him.
Man,
I played that so many times.
Oh man, like his combos are freaking good.
Where he says really edgy shit while just like destroying hundreds of people, like Dynasty Warrior style or something.
Yeah, that mission was fun.
It's pretty fun.
Alright. I guess we should move maybe to the next one. Unless someone want to add something. I think we covered more or less everything about Jin.
I mean,
yeah, I got
Jin
nothing.
could an episode someday. We could
that's why
totally.
I'm kind of. I think we went over the general stuff.
Absolutely, yes.
But yeah, the next one on the list is another pretty boy, Akos, which is aka Fantasy HP, because he looks and acts so much like HP. It's just, oh god.
HP from Xenoblade X.
Yep.
Herbert Birtwistle.
So, his motivation is to kill God and follow Jin. And yeah, but overall, like, his character is still very interesting. Like, whenever he shows up, like, you're in for a good time, because the guy is like, his personality is pretty fun too, and he's also. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's got this smooth, fun, cocky attitude towards everything that is really a lot like HB's, but like in villain form and with a little bit more. Like HB is a lot more proper. I feel like Akos, at least as he was portrayed in the English dub, especially.
I don't feel bad for him about his blade though that he had. Like,
oh, you mean
I forgot the name of it. But the sort of pretty that one that was predicting or that was able to see some information from afar, I think, or something like that. But anyways, like that one blade was really pretty, and at the same time, it was like I felt a bit like sad for him that he lost her, because she was pretty cool, and like I don't think he deserved to do that, to get this fate, even though he was a villain, to lose a friend he was close to. So I think it was a little sad. But
her name was Obrona. Sorry,
Obrona.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I'm not exactly sure like what to add about Akos, because he's very much like the Team Rocket villain, like appearing out of nowhere, being like, "Ha! I'm gonna beat you this time." Yeah, he feels very much like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's got a. He's not. I mean, like, there's not just a whole lot that we're told about him. It feels like, but his personality definitely stands out when he comes in.
Like I said,
and like. Just like with how cheeky and snarky and all that stuff he is.
Oh yeah, when he comes in, you're in for a good time. You're gonna be entertained. Like it's really great.
Yeah.
And apparently, he's the brother of Petroka.
Yep, he is. He is. They do mention that.
Yeah, I guess we could go into Petroka before Mikhail, because I feel like it makes more sense. Yeah, Petroka is a co-sister. They were both found by Jin, I believe. It was a bit unclear though. Like, were they being transferred as blades somewhere else, or were they fleeing and Jin found them then? Like, I'm not fully sure. Like, I do remember the cutscene, but I don't remember where they were and what they were at this time. I feel like they were trying to idle their ship.
At that point, they were flesh eaters.
Yeah, flesh eaters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were flesh eaters, but I mean, like the circumstance in which Jin found them. Like, I'm trying to remember if they were fleeing or if they were like
they were
carried. Oh, okay, and he did find them as they were fleeing. That's pretty much it.
Petroka seems like the kind of hard ass I would be if I had to deal with a brother like Akos all the time. So I completely get it.
Well,
yeah, Petroka is your
to clarify,
typical. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Go ahead, Tyler. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say because I just kind of double checked. Because they were blades of two siblings, and then when their drivers died, they ate their blades, which Akos views them as siblings, but I guess Petroka doesn't really think of them as such.
I see. Yeah, but then again, Petroka is also very tsundere. Like, extremely tsundere. Mm-hmm. Like, she does not show a real feeling at all outside, and she always look like kind of stoic and rough, like the way, like, and very blunt too. Like, she does not really like mince her word whenever she's talking either most of the time, but at the same time you can tell that underneath that she does care very much for Akos and also Mikhail. It's just that she does not really show it outside all that much. Like, she's often kind of mean to them, but at the same time it's within like this type of character that's like, oh, I'm mean outside, but like I'm actually a good bean inside, you know? It just, of course she's with the villains, but it's also because she's following the same goals as them.
The villains are that part of the villains I feel is pretty grayscale in a lot of ways, especially
yeah, because they're not bad people. They just went through bad stuff and like ended up having to go through some extreme measures because of the scale at which their opponent is at. Like, their opponent basically has power over everything, so how do you fight that? You basically go to extreme measures. You don't really have a choice there. But yeah, to continue with this gang, I guess we could jump into Mikhail unless someone else wanna add something to Petroka. Alright, let's move on to the other pretty boy.
Who went from a small, quiet child to a womanizer 500 years later somehow.
Small, quiet child with a British accent to a womanizer with an American accent. Which, I mean, that can make sense, you know?
I mean, it can happen, like...
Depending on what you grow up. For example,
if you're someone that changed, like, region and stuff, and you start getting used to hear a new accent, you will eventually pick it up. So, I think it could make sense, but overall with the game making, I'm pretty sure it was just a matter of, like, oh, this person is the only person we have that can do a child, so we're gonna take this person, but they have a different accent. But, you know, it's fine.
This was him
but
as
in
a
500
kid.
years, in 500 years, with everything that went through, like, I can see why a character could change drastically. I mean, when you're a child, you're just an innocent child. You're not like your teenager or adult form. So
remember this.
That said, I do find it really fun whenever he appears. Like, I do find it really fun. Like he's like this super happy villain that's like, oh yeah, let's steal, you know, let's steal, man.
Remember this kid? You won't believe what he looks like now.
But yeah, he has pretty much the same goals as the others. But that said, he does have a bit more of a backstory with Jin, since as a small kid he was along with the group of Flora and Co. Yeah, it's just that's another thing though that's a bit unclear, is when was he experienced on to become a flesh eater exactly? Yeah. Like, I think they kind of show a small cutscene or something, but it's like so small that it's a bit hard to grasp everything that's going on. But yeah,
I think that Mikhail. Oh, sorry.
No, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think that Mikhail is like interesting, personality wise. It's just, it kind of goes to show is like over the years and he had been through a lot, as shown in like Torna and everything, and even since then. It would make sense that he would follow Jin, of course, after all the bad things that happened to them in the course of Torna. But also, just it's interesting that seeing a character where it's like, oh, the way he basically deals with this is just to be kind of like fun and goofy, and also kind of be a womanizer.
But in a way, I think the fun and goofy part is,
I think it's like a coping thing.
Yeah, it could be a coping, partially. But also trying to be a bit like his best friend that he lost in the war, like with the events of Torna, rather. Yeah. Like, he lost his best friend there that was like, always pretty much just like happy-go-lucky type character. So I feel like maybe over time he tried to become a bit more like him.
That's like, I think so too, in a way.
But you can tell that the guy, like, for example, in some scenes near the end, you can tell that he's hurt inside. It's just he doesn't really show it outside. He tries to be happy outside.
Yeah.
So at least it's a feeling I get from him.
Yeah, that's kind of my headcanon for him too. Is him kind of taking a bit personality wise from the people he grew up admiring and like lost.
Especially his friend
tragedy.
That I forgot the name of, but
you mean Milton, right?
Yeah, Milton, okay. Yeah.
I was like, you do mean Milton, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that way too. And
so I guess that could, unless someone want to add something about Mikhail, I guess this would make us go into the big baddie of Xenoblade 2.
Yes, a Malthus.
Malthus is complex, though. Very complex.
Yeah, his hate inspired the hate in Malos.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of spread.
Yeah, all the hate stems from him. Because of how humans treated him and his family over the years. And, well, they killed his mother. So that was a really rough scene.
Yeah, for sure. I said, I do wish that some of his cutscenes were a bit more detailed sometimes, because, like, I remember I was having trouble to grasp, like, all the colors of the character, kinda, because everything was so short and so quick shown.
And a lot of them were quite, like, silent. And just, like,
yeah, exactly.
It was a lot of show, not tell, in a lot of those.
Yeah, exactly. And I often have more trouble, like, understanding everything that's going on if it's not flat out told to me.
At least as far as his background stuff. I appreciate that in a lot of ways, but yeah, it would have been nice to see a little bit more in some ways too, I feel like.
I feel like I think we got a decent amount about him.
Oh,
but
yeah, we got a decent amount. It's just the way it was presented could have been a lot better to understand him even better, is the point I'm trying to get at. But yeah.
Well, there was also the scene later on where he helped someone out, like a human out, and then they ended up killing some other people, and
and that did destroy some of his faith in humanity.
His faith,
I think he lost a lot of faith in humanity.
Yeah, a lot of him seeing that stuff in his past, like, definitely gave him, like, a sense of that. Yeah, was basically all I was thinking about it, but I was trying to remember, like, a very specific thing, and it's not coming to mind at the moment, so go on.
Well, and then he also climbed the world tree in order to, like, basically ask the architect why people are bad, and he didn't really get much of a response from the architect.
Yeah.
But he did get the core crystal, though.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Mitra did not react to him, but Malos did. And, like Kat wrote on her marvelous document, like, Malos basically reacted to the darkness in Amalthus' heart.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitra didn't. It may have been because Malos was more neutral and curious entity, but with his malice, Malos became very, very dangerous.
And, like, actually, so, like, with Amalthus, like, because of how early it was in his life that he lost his mom and got revenge on the men that killed her and things like that, I think it led to a lot of things, but I think also just, like, I was reminding myself a little bit, but, like, years later, just his time when he was a quaestor, I don't know how you say it again, I forgot, for Endoline. He was in a lot of, like, warlike situations, and just seeing, like, helping refugees and things like that, and just seeing the things that people were capable during that time in his life.
Mm-hmm.
really, I can see how that led to him having the mindset that he did in the first place and being, where he was at with all of that.
Yeah.
It's really, especially with like how early that all started in life, really drives home his motivations and his opinion of people and everything like that.
Yeah, he really saw the ugly side of humanity firsthand.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of like it's basically, he has like I don't know if that would be like a form of PTSD or what, it's definitely affected him in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing the tragedies that, mankind caused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, something else that Cat wrote. At the end of Torna, Prince Zetar is sent the throne and goes to establish Dental. 500 years later, the society established is almost entirely under Amalthus' control behind the scene. But it's true that Amalthus, in Xenoblade 2, Amalthus has a lot of threads all over the place. Like, he controls a lot of parties behind the scenes, and yeah, it's just
he works to get himself in that position where he can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But also, even with the thing with the blades, like how he does his thingamajig with blades, where he tries to what's the word? He tries to basically he does a shiny thing, I think, over the blade crystals, make sure they're pure or something. But,
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But near the end of the game, when he goes like, "Oh, I have the power to control all the blades and all the blades and even the titans." Like, it was kind of crazy he had been able to construct enough power to do all of that. It was like, whoa, the guy's on a power trip, man.
Yeah, and he also wrestled away power from Blue Sellers. That's all I remember him. What is that guy's name?
Oh yes. You mean the sort of alien looking other blue thing that was in a lab with him?
It was
Isn't this guy
basically the Pope before Amalthus?
The Pope before Amalthus. Yeah, true. Yeah, there was a guy before him. God. But yeah, I think we did speak a bit about his motivation being the fact that you saw so much like how humans were too cruel and stuff and ugly, and like he just kind of snapped.
People me no likey. Yeah.
Yeah, he basically gained power within the Praetorium, basically to
be able to control more things.
Control things, to more possibility of I guess destroying humanity.
But yeah, he was passive, he was more passive aggressive, but also I feel like his thing of control was also to try and control humanity or something rather than destroy it, but his hate for humanity made Mallows want to destroy it though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, oof. That said, at the end when he was snapping even more because the group was going against him and he was pretty much against a wall into a corner, he pretty much tried to kill all of everything himself with that whole power trip of I'm gonna control all the blade and the titans to all crash together, So, because I do remember the titans were all coming toward the center, and then they could have crashed and stuff because he undid the balance and stuff. But yeah.
And then Jin saved the day.
Yeah, Jin saved the day with his troop along with the main group. They I think it was cool though that they did collaborate in that part to go against him. Like, I think that was really cool. But afterwards, they still had to go all the way to the top of the world tree, to the architect, and then, continue fighting stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Amalthus is definitely an interesting character that definitely warrants his own episode as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, there's just so much about him. And definitely we would need Kat on that episode, because Kat is, like, the pro about Amalthus. Kat knows a lot about Amalthus and is able to piece together all the pieces. Like, the thing with me is that I do remember a lot of pieces, but things were shown in such a way in the game that was, like, kind of a bit in disorder, that my brain's having trouble, like, putting them all together in the right order. So I'm trying to remember parts. I'm like, wait, there was something about this, but, like, I find it's a bit harder to remember parts because of the way it was presented. But yeah, I think overall it's pretty much the gist of it about the Malthus, and yeah, he is a very interesting character, and definitely could have his own episode, because there's a lot of color about that character, lots of it.
Besides the color blue.
Besides the color blue. Okay, so I guess we could go into
the last villain on our list.
Well, there was another one headed by Robin, but I'm not quite sure what that is.
No,
but,
that was me. That was me.
Oh, that was you. I thought it was Robin.
Yes.
Oh, my bad.
Don't worry about it.
Alright, so...
Don't worry about that one. That's just a bonus.
Okay, so...
Alright, so let's get to one of my least favorite villains.
Oh, yeah.
Gort. What really angers me about Gort is that he could have been really good.
Right, yes.
He honestly could have been really, really good. He could have been one of the better villains on this list. But it's like, we just don't get enough of him. I always say that, like, Torna should have had one more Gort fight before you fought Malos. Like, if they had given us just one more fight with him before Malos, that would have made Torna so much better. But, like, I dislike Gort so much that his final fight actually made me dislike Torna for a while. I was so upset at that final fight with him, because there's, like, they act like there's all this buildup with him that just isn't there. You see him early on, and it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like, I like that he has somewhat of a relationship with Laura, so there's, like, that grudge there, but you don't get to see enough of that for the fight with him to really mean much. And that sucked. Especially considering, like, the final battle with him, they have a remix of The Power of Jin, which is a really good song, and it's absolutely wasted on what was otherwise a pretty silly fight. Yeah. I was very upset about that.
Let's back up a little bit. So, Gort...
Okay.
No, it's fine.
This is great.
Gort, like... Well, no, it's good. So after 3 years of planning, Gort, like, managed to steal Jin's core crystal. This is, like, early on. But, he was going to sell it, but 10-year-old Laura, not knowing, just kind of touched the core crystal and became Jin's driver, which threw Gort's plans out the window. So he wanted to kill her to get the crystal back, but Jin sliced his arm off, and you get this flashback in the original game, and you kind of don't really think too much about Gort. I don't even think they mentioned his name in the original game, did they?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but it was very short though.
Yeah, exactly. So then later on, he gets a prosthetic arm, and he's basically hired by Amalthus, and he's trying to, I guess, get revenge on Laura and Jin, or
that seems like his main thing. Yeah.
But,
I think he's just mad about losing his arm and stuff, which is, sure, but you did try to kill a kid just because the kid resonated with the crystal? Like, come on.
Yeah, like, I agree with you, Justin. I think he definitely needed more, because otherwise he's... he had potential. He had potential. I do kind of like...
He had a lot of potential.
I do kind of like his final boss, because it gets kind of like...
It gets really creepy.
Like, yeah, creepy, body horror-ish thing going on there, but it's like, just kind of seems like out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing.
Like, and it's like, there was no build-up for this.
There wasn't enough build-up.
Just like, look, I'm back.
Like I said, if they had one more, like, if we had an extra Gort battle before you fought Malos and Torna, he would have been so much better. That would have done wonders for developing this character. But to throw him after you beat Malos, after that super climatic and awesome final boss,
insane.
I consider that to be the final boss. After that super awesome boss fight with Malos, to suddenly get Gort and he's all like, "I hope you're a screamer," which that was a lot of people think that line is creepy. I thought that was actually a pretty funny line, but still, like, it's wasted because, like, he comes up and you're like, really? This is who I'm gonna fight at the very end of the game? And then they give us that really amazing song, and it has no impact. I hate that song is so good because it's wasted on such a dumb boss.
Maybe if they had just flipped the order of the battles, that would have been better. Like, have
that would have. I think that actually would have helped a little bit, but I think there should have been one more Gort fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think there should have been. I think there would have been an effective build-up rather than see him at the start, all this stuff set up, drop him completely, and bring him back randomly at the end. It feels a little strange. I get, element of surprise, but also doesn't really work for that kind of villain as well.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't like Gort. I was very disappointed by that. Like I said, to the point where I started to hate Torna because of it.
Oh,
I was, I don't hate Torna. I used to be very critical about it, but when I look back on it, it's not as bad as I was before. I was just very bitter about certain things, and that was one of them.
Yeah,
I get that.
I was personally for Torna, like, the thing I was the most better about was the ending, because I felt like they could have shown, like, a lot more to connect the dots rather than just be like, here's a scene of, like, the characters at the end being happy when we know they're obviously not gonna be, but, like, also, like, the Aegis was sealed away, but you see nothing of that. It's just, like, I feel like it was a bit anticlimactic. Like, I would have loved to see, maybe not necessarily go all the way to the scene where everything goes to shit, but, like, to see a bit more toward that, to connect the dots of what happened after.
As far as the Laura and Jin part of it, I kind of am okay with where they left it, because it's like, you know what's going to happen, and I kind of like the allusion to it. Just being there is enough for that, but, like, some of the other stuff, I definitely agree.
Yeah, like the Aegis being, like, where the fuck did their good boy go to?
Yeah.
Like, with Pyra, rather Mitra, because Pyra was not there at the time, but where the fuck did he go to? Like, could we know?
I would like to have seen
for
that,
example,
yes.
For example, like, in Xenoblade 2, you see a lot of, like, this whole village that was supposedly, like, founded by him, but it's just like, okay, but when was it founded? And, like, how? When? Like, did he just go put the Aegis, like, away, like, underneath the sea and then just go there? Like, did he have like, was his family okay? Like, what happened? What happened with a good boy, you know? I was just so salty that they did not show a tiny bit more. Like just a little extra, maybe like 5 minutes of extra little shots here and there to get a bit more would have been perfect, but I felt it was, like, and the ending was so flat to me. Like, it did not feel how that satisfying, but I did really enjoy the game, but I wish the ending had a little bit more to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
That said, do we mention the last one on the list that I have no idea what it is, but I feel like it's a joke?
Also, Blue Sailors turned Gordon into the first Blade Eater.
Oh, true.
Which also, yeah, I that was weird that he looked like a robot beast with a face in his mouth. But yeah, anyway. Yep, that's pretty nasty. The last one was just a joke one that I added. It's Holy Lancer A-Frame. It's a giant deadly swordfish that can fly. One of the unique monsters in Xenoblade 2. I was kidding.
Is it maybe a reference to Ephraim from Fire Emblem Secret Stones?
Quite likely. I just want to bring up, for the unique monsters in the Xenoblade games, period, all of them have some great names. Holy Lancer, Ephraim, like...
What was that one? It was like Machine Gun Julio,
Tattooed Hugo.
I wish I paid more attention to the names, but I'm too focused on the numbers. So I totally don't see them. There's another one that was like
Reeking Douglas.
Yeah, Reeking Douglas. There's one in Torna that's like Moving Fortress something, and I forget what that one is fully. There's Territorial Rothbart, the infamous
Territorial Rothbart, yeah. Cloud Seeking Ken was one of my favorite.
I do like Cloud Seeking Ken, and there's another one that's like stratospheric. Alright, it was like something Cloud Seeking. I just thought, fucking. I love that. I also love that like Zenobia's line is just fighting all those bosses. A lot of those bosses.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems that we have come at the end of our list.
Yes.
Yes. Is there...
That we did.
Which is kind of funny because, like, 2 hours enough to do all the Xenoblade games, but 4 hours for Xenogears and Xenosaga.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a pretty decent job at moving along and covering what we need to cover.
The problem with Xenogears and Xenosaga is that the characters have so freaking much content. Like, it's like huge bricks. It's hard to break them into, oh, so this is just what happened. It's just, oh my god, it's just so hard because there's just so much. Well, the Xenoblade, I feel like Xenoblade's characters are often a bit easier to like break down into smaller bits because they're way more simple.
For sure. They're much more straightforward.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually appreciate that, believe it or not.
Kind of gets to the point in a lot of ways. Plus, you if we're talking like Xenosaga, it's like 3 games as opposed to 1 game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another big reason for it.
Huge for all the characters, including the villains. So that's why, like, we gotta go on a tangent when we start talking about Xenosaga and Xenogears, because there's so much. But yeah.
Let's see, can anybody think of any, like, last-minute minor villains that we might have missed?
Nothing comes to mind, really. Like...
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we covered most of the ones that were really prevalent. If there was another one we missed, we're sorry.
Oh well. Leave us those angry comments and emails.
Yes.
I'll have fun reading them.
XenoChatPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can react to Twitter and just,
Or your fan theories for who was the actual villain all along. Oh yeah, I thought of one, Bose.
Yep. He's the real villain all along.
There you
go.
Xenophobia is the villain all along.
Bonus villain.
Xenophobia is the villain.
Alright. Okay, well, this was great. Thanks, everybody, for joining me tonight. That was a really good discussion.
Thank you for having me.
So this episode may or may not come out first, depending on how we had some technical difficulties with the Xenogears and Xenosaga episode.
Yep.
So if we can't figure that out first, I might jump onto this one and just edit this one first. But
even though it's gonna be like, oh yeah, part 2's coming out first because technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, so besides that, as we mentioned earlier, there will be a Lao episode, so look forward to that. Okay, yeah, I think that's as far as the future of the podcast goes. Let's go around and share anything if you'd like. We'll start with you, Justin.
Okay, so I have been collaborating with Sup Arcade, and we are doing a playthrough of We Love Katamari. By the time this episode is up, there should be plenty of episodes of that on their channel. I was playing... Well, I wasn't playing it. I was watching them play it. And it was our first time playing it. It's one of my favorite video games, and it's a blast. We had so much fun during that recording. So definitely check that out. It is a really, really good time. And speaking of like collaborations, we have our Zeldathon, which by the time this episode airs, should probably be finished. And hopefully Sam has uploaded the VODs. But yeah, we're almost done with the Zeldathon, because by the time this, as of this recording right now, we are just a few days away from Skyward Sword HD's release, and that's going to be the end of the Zeldathon.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a really, really good time. We played a lot of games.
And yeah, me, Nick, and Justin all played a bit too, and it was a good time. Yeah. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was great. We had a lot of fun playing those games, so definitely go on Retro Roulette's Twitch channel, check out the VODs. I think Sam plans on uploading them on the YouTube channel as well.
Yes, too.
So check that out in case you missed them. But if you haven't been missing them and you've been jumping in the chats, thank you for the support. That means the world to us.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, another project. So one of the big quote-unquote secret projects that I've been working on last year, I can finally reveal it. It is the RPG book. So I've been working with Kurt from Hardcore Gaming 101, and we've been working on a book about JRPGs, and it's a massive 600-page book covering a bunch of Japanese role-playing games. I was one of the contributors for it. Kurt got a whole bunch of other contributors, Tyler being one of them as well.
Yay.
And
yeah, I believe there was over 30 contributors total. Is amazing.
There's a ton of people in on this book, and we've been writing entries about various RPGs. I think like 600 games covered in that book. It is massive.
Insane.
I wrote the sections for Xenosaga Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3, and all the Xenoblades.
Sweet.
And Jin wrote the entry for Super Robot Taisen Endless Frontier, I believe.
Yeah, OG Saga Endless Frontier.
OG Saga Endless Frontier, yes.
Which has Cosmos in it.
Which has Cosmos in it, so it counts. So yeah, definitely check out, if you want to check out my and Tyler's writing in a book, go ahead and pick that up.
And it's so beautiful. It's so good.
I can't say go ahead and pick that up, because unfortunately it sold out really quickly, and I don't think any of us expected that.
No.
But they are going to have another print run of it in October, so be on the lookout for it. Follow Bitmap Books, which Bitmap Books, they are the folks who publish this. They have done some amazing books in the past. If you want to see like some great books on Super Famicom box art, I think they did one on Game Boy box art, and I think they did another one on Neo Geo games. They are great. If you've already bought Bitmap Books, you know how amazing their releases are. But this JRPG book release is insane. If you can think of a JRPG, there's a pretty good chance it's covered in this book. It is that comprehensive and that big of a book. It's almost intimidating to flip through all the pages.
Yes, it is.
It's pretty wild. But I'm very happy with how it came out. I'm glad that Kurt was able to get all these contributors in on it. I'm very glad that Tyler was able to join. And I have a couple other friends who also wrote some entries in that book as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. It's a really good thing. I think a lot of us, you can really see how passionate a lot of us are about the genre. So yeah, if you like RPGs, this is a book you want on your shelf.
Exactly.
And I will get it when it goes back in stock, because I missed it.
All right. Well, Mary, how about you? What have you been up to?
Conventions are still not a thing, and I'm not really doing any cosplays right now. But I did like stream for the Zeldathon, and I do plan on possibly streaming a bit more games in the near future. I just need to get some setups going. But yeah, basically my whole idea of like trying to stream more is because I have this gigantic backlog that keeps getting worse, and I was thinking maybe if I like schedule myself to play these games from my backlog on stream, I could get through it better. So I'm thinking of maybe doing that, but for sure, like I need to. I need to get a few things set up before I fully go into that, because, for example, I'm still on an old OS, and like I need to set up like my new SSD to then install the new OS and all that crap. So, because basically my capture card that I got was I thought I could make it work on my old OS, but apparently it's not stable and keeps crashing. So yeah, I need Windows 10. But yeah, I will make it work. Just need some time to get everything I need to do the switch. But yeah.
Oh, well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. It's gonna be a huge ordeal to switch. I guess we can go to Nick.
Yeah, how about you, Nick?
Biggest thing is that Zeldathon. Been I've just finished today.
Nick just streamed since like what, Thursday?
Well, let's see.
Or Friday.
Yeah,
when
since
did
Friday.
You start Triforce Hero? Was it?
Oh yeah, no, it was Thursday. It was Thursday. I started Triforce Heroes. We played through Triforce Heroes for a bit on Thursday, and I did a part 2 with Link Between Worlds, which was what I had originally planned to stream those days. But we got a group together for Triforce Heroes, and I never played it, so we did that. We did like a half and half. Then on really Friday, we did all Triforce Heroes, and beat it, and so on Saturday, I went back to A Link Between Worlds, did not finish it. In fact, I got not as far as I would have hoped, and we actually decided to push Breath of the Wild back a day because our friend Anthony at Retro Roulette was going to do that, and he was busy today, so... busy today. Yeah, I'm giving us a timestamp now. So anyway, the day after
July 11th.
Yeah, the day after that, today, I streamed not Triforce Heroes, I streamed Link Between Worlds for as much time as I could before coming onto this podcast. And if you don't catch it in the VOD, it should be uploaded to YouTube, along with my earlier broadcast that I did for Zeldathon of Link's crossbow training, which was very fun. Also the first time I had played all the way through it, and I did beat that one in the one sitting, so that was pretty nice. Although I did not beat Link Between Worlds, I'm pretty happy with overall progress in that, and that's the main thing I've been working on lately. Just some collaboration stuff with Retro Roulette. But
yeah,
I do expect to stream a bit more in the future, especially now that it feels like it's somewhat more expected of me, and I am having fun with it. So it will be it'll be good. I am enjoying it. But yeah, that's my main thing, is that stuff.
Alright, anyway, how about you, Robin?
Let's see, what have I been up to? I've been writing what's hopefully the first of a series of short stories, and playing Terranigma. I mean, I'm like more than halfway done with it. Probably by the time this comes out, I should be done. I've been enjoying it so far. If people are able to get their hands on that, I do recommend it.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So as for me, I have not been playing any Zelda games, but I did contribute to the JRPG book, as Justin mentioned. I've just been working on different projects here and there. A lot of them Xeno related, but can't really talk about them just yet, so stay tuned to those. But that's about it. So, thank you everyone for contributing tonight. Also to people who also added to our notes. I believe Kat and Robin contributed a lot to our document.
Oh yeah.
So thank
I
you
think a couple
very
of
much.
extra other people also contributed
Oh, yes.
to the Xenogears and Xenosaga parts, but
Yeah,
like, there was a lot of people writing on the doc, so I kind of lost track.
yeah. I'll just say Jesse, Chris.
Yeah.
I think
did Feeny maybe?
I think Queenie / Melt also, rather Brielle, like also put down a few things as well.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody.
But yeah.
Yeah, and thank you especially whoever's listening to this episode right now. We really appreciate it. And well, have a good night, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Take care.
Now it's writing time.
Yeah, it's
Anyways, shall we get started? Is everyone ready?
Everybody got your booze?
I'm ready whenever.
I do.
I got my booze.
I got water.
Okay. I've got
both.
nothing, but I'll be fine.
This is like the first time I'm drinking on an episode in some time, so.
Okay.
This is the first time
This
I've
is
been on
gonna
an
be
episode in
good.
some time.
Alright.
I always
Alright.
drink on episodes.
I'm ready for the countdown.
All right, everybody ready?
Whenever.
Okay. All right.
And it's... We press on 3 or after 3?
We'll press on go. So 3, 2, 1, go. But not right there. Not right there.
No, I got
Yes,
it.
I understood.
Okay. All right. So
Understood.
on your forehead.
all right. Hit record in 3, 2, 1, go.
Now it's writing time.
Are we
All right,
ready
so
to
the
move on
next
to
one,
his right hand man?
Jin.
Oh wow.
I'll have to edit that.
You are roboting a bit, but we
I
can
like how
talk
the
about Jin.
problems that exist here are that I am speaking too fast, apparently, according to Discord, and Jin is speaking too slowly, apparently, according to Discord.
basically, a bot / Robin goes into a chipmunk that's accelerated, and Tyler goes into
Jin /
a
Tyler.
slow motion robot that's cutting out.
It's actually really funny. Like, our listeners probably aren't going to hear it, but on our end, it's great.
I've been trying
Oh my
to hold back
gosh.
laughter at times in this
Yeah.
episode for this reason.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
That's
no
okay.
Don't
problem.
apologize. You're fine. It's not your fault whatsoever.
If anything,
But,
Discord's fault.
It's probably Discord.
but we
Fully
might have
fault, but-
samples of that going on, like with the other recording you're doing at the same time, and we could probably put that to the bloopers, but we'll see at the end of the episode if that does happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's at the end where Rex is going, like, see, here's how you're wrong. I've explained it, and then Malos just recontextualizes what Rex says, and he's like, no, you're right, I'm a terrible scum, and you need to beat me.
Now it's writing time.
And also, I just want to put one more thing out there. Sub to Brinkle, and that's it. No context. There you
Oh, stop it.
What?
Don't worry about
I'm
it.
gonna worry about it.
Don't. Just
go.
remove
You
that
can edit
from
that
the
out. I'm sorry, that was just
Edit that out.
completely an inside joke.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna make Tyler.
I could put it in the bloopers if you'd rather.
You can. That's fine.
Okay.
Shut
All right. Anyway, how about you, Robin? Insert Robin's response here. Okay, that sounds awesome.
Now it's writing time.
Oh man.
Okay. So this one, I guess, we'll call Villain.
XenoChat.
Just to assure you, Jen, Sub to Brinkle is absolutely harmless. It was just, it can also absolutely be edited out. It was just me. That's why
What is it?
paused before saying it.
It's an inside joke. My friend Brian, his channel is Brinkle, and so he always says Sub to Brinkle, and that's kind of become like an inside joke.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Sub to Brinkle.
Okay.
Like, it was really funny. During Games Done Quick, Sam actually wrote in her chat Sub to Brinkle, and it showed up.
Oh, he subs to. Oh, wow. Yeah, because it's subscriber only chat.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
It was really funny.
Did he donate and put that in?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Now it's writing time.